If you're constantly battling low energy, cravings, weight control, watching your health slip away, listen up. There's a simple daily protocol they don't want you to know about that's helping people ditch their meds and reclaim their health. Up to 88% of Americans potentially suffer from some degree of insulin resistance. The Feel Great protocol is a simple 2-step daily system designed to help your body work with you, not against you. Step 1. Unimate, a powerful yerba mate extract clinically shown to boost mood, increase mental clarity, and support fat burning. Step 2. A patented fiber matrix called Balance. Taken before meals, it helps regulate blood sugar, curb cravings, and support healthy insulin response. That's it. No crazy diets, no meds, just science-backed support your body actually understands. Feel Great is perfect for you if you have low energy, weight control, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, poor sleep, diabetes, snacking, sugar cravings, gut health, systemic inflammation. This isn't a trend, it's a transformation. Start today to reclaim your health with the Feel Great protocol.
And you're going to see a stock market, which is already at the highest point in history, go through the roof. You're going to see the golden age of America, frankly, and you're seeing it now. So as soon as this is, don't forget, you have hundreds of ships that are loaded up with oil that want to come out. As soon as they come out, we're going to have a gusher of oil, and you're going to have inflation that goes way down. Now, with all of this, inflation is much lower than it was under Biden. Biden had the highest inflation in the history of our country. Inflation is nothing by comparison, but our inflation is just short term. Because if you go from just before the war, we were for the last 3 months 1.7%. And now what you have is as soon as this war is over, you're going to see inflation go down to probably 1.5%.
Boom. How is it going out there, my fellow world patriots? Some familiar numbers in there. It's 1.7%. How much was that account there to repay back the folks? 1.7 billion. That was interesting as well. But it is indeed Tuesday, May 19th, 2026. And it is Tuesday, so I'm bringing to you Mr. Ghost and friends, and we are a couple of men down at the moment. I know Armando is on his way. He'll be here with us in a little bit, and I think Jeff said he had a gaming conference this time, or maybe he just couldn't make it for this show. But in any event, let's bring in Ghost and then Mike, and then we'll say what's going on with the folks. But Mr. Ghost, sir, how's it going today, brother? How's the last week been for you? How's everything going?
It's going. You don't want to know what the last week's been like, and other than that, business as usual.
So not so bad.
A lot of interesting things going on, which I'm sure we'll get into. And on that, I'll just say something very quickly about that. It's usual talking points, because a lot of people, I'll say this: all you have to do is read the published, available Department of War book that they put out. I'll have to get the name for you of it.
The UFO
I'm sure
one?
a lot of people are familiar with it. No, and basically their budget and their goals, etc. And if you read that, all of what's going on will make a lot more sense to people, especially those who are doubting that it's going in a certain trajectory, because it still is, and never deviated from that. Don't have to. But I would suggest getting that. I'll try to find it for you right now.
Absolutely. Well, let's bring in Mr. Mike, sir. How you doing, Doc Mike, as Armando lovingly calls you? I think I'll just start calling you Doc Mike from now on. We'll just do it like that. But how's it going today, brother? Hope everything's good. And obviously, we know we are all here pulling and praying for Renee and a speedy recovery and healing up. So hopefully everything is good with you guys out there, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, just doing a lot of things for Renee this week and doing all of her medical stuff. A lot of paperwork this week for her. She's trying to get the medications coupons from the manufacturers, and working too and staying busy. Worked on a couple things with Ghost that have got pretty interesting, and also pretty important is we spoke with the medical doctors for Renee, and we're going to be headed to Dallas, Texas, for probably about a couple weeks, so they can do treatments for Renee, and so that's a positive thing. And I just finished my dart training for New Mexico Tech for drone reconnaissance and all the new high speed drone stuff for the military operational stuff. That's pretty fun, and that's about it.
Oh, awesome. Actually, you know what? With that in mind, let's bring on a little interesting story, and we're definitely going to touch on because I think we need to when we get into a little bit of the Massey stuff, maybe we'll touch on the whole Israel black pill thing, because I think it's low hanging fruit. But since you had mentioned drones, I thought this one was pretty cool. President Trump is basically doing up the White House. Let me see. I gotta find my link here. Crypto Ice. Here we go. So, oh wait, no, this is the same one again here. That's the same one. Right here. Here we go. Sorry, got my links doubly labeled for whatever reason. But this is interesting. So he's President Trump is talking about the ballroom, right? We just need to have some we need to have a beautiful ballroom for the people, because every place we go, Saudi Arabia, they have this great stuff or whatever, but then seems like he maybe put a curveball in. But that's kind of par for the course here. But let's listen to some of the things that this quote ballroom can do.
These great classical buildings, they're taken out of different parts of the world from very glamorous times. This is Rome. They like the flat roof. Greece likes they call it the triangles, and you see that. This is a porch that looks out over the city. Also, it's developed in such a way that we can have military there, but the entire roof is developed for military. They're very high. They're higher than just about anything else. They have a 360-degree vision of Washington, D.C. They have a massive drone capacity. Not only is it drone-proof. If a drone hits it, it bounces off. It won't have any impact. But it's also meant as a drone port, so it protects all of Washington, the roof of the building. Okay? Now.
So there's more to the ballroom, guys, than just, and of course, even me, thought there was going to be something a little bit more to the story than just a little ballroom, because apparently it goes six levels deep. That's pretty crazy. What do you make of that, dude? Like the drone update, and then they got to protect it. So it's also will have drone proof, but also like a drone area where they will send out drones from as well. Pretty cool,
right?
Huh?
Yeah, that is actually pretty cool. Yeah, I've been to some bases where you go underground. But for the ballroom, I would imagine they're going to have a command center, central command center down at the bottom, 6th floor, 5th floor. Fallout shelters, obviously, or something like that. But when he was talking about the anti-drone rooftop, there's a couple things that I could think of. What he's talking about is types of netting or electronic warfare, EMP systems. And then at the end, when he was talking about, drones covering the DC area, I thought that was interesting too. It's just more surveillance cameras in the sky. And that just reminded me of kind of like the flock system cameras that are all around the U.S. Capturing everything. It just makes it. I don't know. It's interesting. I'm gonna really have to look into that. But yeah, you're right. The ballroom is a little more than it is.
It's going to be a little bit something more. But then, other people were wondering, did they find, did they find anything underneath there? Are there tunnels? I mean, we know there are tunnels for sure.
Yeah.
Well, actually, yeah, we've had, I've shown it a few times. There's a congressman, he's not the skinniest of guys either, but he actually shows right in his office. There's a little trap door where he goes down, and it's like a little spiral thing, so you can tell it's super old. So, trap door in Congress. So people were wondering what else was going on with that. Oh, let me see if I can pop this one up quick for you folks. Congress. Let me see if it pops up really quick. No. All right. Yeah, it's literally he popped it up. It was behind his desk, and then he goes, yeah, even me now, I can even get down there. He's like, I've been down there, so it's definitely there's more to the story down there for sure. And of course, it was never going to be just a ballroom, right? Never going to be just a ballroom. But I thought this was interesting, and and so I've been incorrectly, and thank for Ghost and Mike for straightening me out on this one. I was like, wait. Stanley Woodward Jr. I've been saying this on live streams. I'm like, wait, is he the son of the other Woodward from like Watergate? And then Ghost is like, no, that's Bob Woodward. I'm like, oh, that's right,
Bob Woodward. Bob Woodward. I was asking if it was Bob Woodward's son. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't know. SKI. It'll tell you everything you want to know.
SKI. Let me see. It'll give you all the wrong answers.
I dropped that link in there for that Department of War publication.
Oh, okay. Let me see.
And you can get the PDF right away. I think it did it in the chat in the
Media Defense.
Is this the Accountability Office?
Unclassified.
Let me see.
National Defense Strategy.
Oh, the 2026 NDS. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me put this in the chat for the folks so they got it as well. But so this is what you were saying earlier, like look into this and you can see more about what's really going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the outline.
It's not just Israel, and Majus and Trump's falling in for the
Probably go to page 5 or 6. It'll have a different line or there. Okay, there's your abstract.
For too long, the U.S. government neglected, even rejected, put Americans and their concrete interests first. Previous administrations squandered our military advantages and the lives, goodwill, and resources of people in grandiose nation-building. Where is it? Nation-building. I took my head off the screen there. Right there. Nation-building projects and self-congratulatory pledges to uphold cloud castle abstractions like the rules-based international order. These past leaders neglected and often actively undermine our warfighters' warrior ethos and our military's core, irreplaceable role fighting, winning, and thereby deterring the wars that really matter to our people. Consequently, President Trump entered office with the nation on the precipice of disastrous wars for which they were unprepared. Dude, this opening paragraph, this opening paragraph is like money. Like even just that, because like he's talking about, like obviously they've been doing exactly what they're saying here, and they're not putting Americans first. But also, what is this? The rules-based international order. Why? Whatever would they mean by that, guys?
So people are being turned against him. They're going against the very thing that they wanted him to go against.
Ah, I see.
Make sense? It's that simple, but it's easy to get it's easy now with all the tools available to the idiots who would put disinformation campaigns out there to do that, and nobody's read this.
Wow.
And if you read this, there's nothing in there that is, you're going to find too much that's not going on. And yeah, he's basically cleaning up, they're having to clean up messes left from previous generations who are all globalist little lackeys, puppets. And we all know that. This is what you're seeing now.
This is crazy. And there's 34 pages, by the way. And so whenever I see that, what's that?
It doesn't take long to read.
No, 34 pages is nothing, guys. And I dropped that link in the chat. I would also remind you guys, and I didn't even get back to the second point, the second interesting thing I found for that paragraph. But I'll just remind folks and show folks here that this happens to be a 34-page, basically telling you where we're going with our country. But then, okay, what are we trying to do for our country? 34. Over the course of the next several years, you could change this into, you will undoubtedly realize we're taking back our great country from the evil tyrants that wish to do us harm and destroy the last remaining refuge of shining light. On POTUS's orders, you guys know the rest. So that is very interesting right there. And then the second part I found of it was at the end. Oh, this is another word that's always been used in the drops too. We were on the precipice of disastrous wars for which we were unprepared. It's almost like somebody that wrote this had something to do with the guys from the team. That's pretty interesting. I think that was not a coincidence, guys.
No. No.
I really, really don't. All right, so I don't know which way I want to attack this first. So let's do it like this first, because we've seen the whole thing with and President Trump yesterday. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but he went off on like a massy tirade, right? Where he actually posted out, I want to say I don't want to say no. It was 5 videos in a row. And then, we have election days and stuff coming up and whatnot as we speak right here. But this is what I showed a little bit of yesterday, a little of her interview with one of my least favorite online people, which is Larry Loomer. But yesterday, and I said this last night, that unfortunately once you miss a day, you're going to have to. All right, so right here. So he started posting these. That's a massive video, 53 seconds. I think it's the same video, or is this may be different ones? Wait, what the hell's going on?
Hello, Montana. I'm thrilled.
Okay, these aren't the ones. So he went 5 in a row yesterday, put it this way. And trust me, he did. I had a back and forth with Matrix Codebreaker and Mac after my show yesterday. We were kind of seeing what was going on, and he posted them from 7:22 to 7:31, and they're all about getting Massey out of there. He's nasty, this, that, and the other, and of course Massey's thing with President Trump is, he's in Israel's pocket, and blah 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 blah. So then I showed this, my old UFO reimagining, and then I showed this yesterday as well. And I'm not going to make you guys listen to the whole thing, but essentially the woman Cynthia West, who says she's Thomas Massey's ex-girlfriend, who started dating him, I believe, 2 months after his high school sweetheart of 30 years died of having this, autoimmune disease. And apparently she was like the second or third woman he had already been involved with. And I guess the one right before her was?
Who's the congresswoman?
Oh, it's Lauren.
Lauren Boebert?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
So they're saying it's Lauren Boebert, right? And then so what we have here, Mike and Ghost, we got
a dog.
Yeah, right. So, yeah, you guys remember the video of her in the movie theater with the Democrat guy? She was kind of giving him a handy, and he had hands all over boobs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So she gets around, and the worst part about it is, or the best part of the worst, I don't know which way you look at it. The interview continued on, and I gave everybody the timestamp in here and where to find it, 12-minute mark. So she basically says, and which is just this part is just bananas to me, right? And so she says that Thomas Massey was essentially bragging to her, who was, I don't know if it was the girlfriend at the time, essentially like, yeah, I had sex with Lauren Boebert. It's like it was a bragging thing. And she said, yeah, why was that? Oh, because she's the prettiest girl in Congress, and it's like a status thing. And I'm just like, wow. So again, it's a big public back and forth, and by the looks of it, I'm supporting President Trump on this one here because I'm putting out all of Massey's bad stuff. But the counter to all of that is the Candace and the Tuckers and the Masseys out there that are saying that this woman and her, her essentially side there, the small hats, that's all that's going on. Trump is just doing what Israel wants, and this and Armando's joining us. I'm letting Armando in. He'll get his audio set up and all that stuff. But this is for some of the folks that are out there because Mike, Ghost, and Armando, there are folks out there that are genuinely like, say, the Tuckers or the Candace that are just like, Israel, blah, 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 blah. But then there are also people that I consider really good friends that are questioning this as well. So I don't know if there's anything that you guys can add to that flavor.
Yeah, there is something I can add. About a year ago, I cautioned people. I said, and that this is what, May 2026? It was around May, June 2025. And they had taken office earlier on. And it was later on in the summer. And I cautioned people, now what you have to pay attention to is this just another, I'll make it very, very straightforward. Is this just one mafia taking over the plans of another, but making it multipolar, meaning Russia, China, the US, and then probably India running that show? Humanity is evolving, and technology isn't making that any slower. We are going in good directions, if that's the case. But a multipolar, let's say, takeover of it all, and that's the reality of it. Is that working toward the same goal as the other direction that the Agenda 2030 types would have you want? And so far, no one has brought receipts to the table. All they've done is responded to the very thing that one other and myself put out there a year ago to be mindful of. And now, they're taking it and running, and they're not providing any real receipts with it. And consider the source, they're not getting receipts, but they're putting it out there, and then people take it and run with it. And then an entire mythos community builds around it. Yeah, you're right. Bust down the door, hang them. Really think about it for a while. And you'll know what you really need to be concerned about. But again, we're dealing with so much true deception and disinformation right now. It's not even funny. It's off the charts. Can it get worse? Yes. It can be targeted down to the local. So be very, very careful of what you entertain in your mind and how far you're willing to take it just because it feels right. But where's the evidence? Again, always go with the evidence. But it's not as if nothing wasn't told to everyone. And then the rest is up to you. Because for anybody to stand there and break it down for you, breaks down vital parts against those who would go against what they're doing. That's about all I can say on that.
Yeah, and I think that's a key point too for anybody who may be just catching on. I'll drop the link again for the National Defense Strategy. And again, that I'm telling you, to me, it sounds like somebody from the team friggin' helped write that thing with precipice and international rules-based order is going to be going by the wayside. So, and yeah, you're right.
It's a good read.
Yeah, and you're right. It actually goes hand in hand with kind of what we're witnessing right now. But we got us a visitor, somebody knocking on the door over here, knocking on the door of sanity and insanity. Let me just place his video here a little bit better. How come I can't? Here we go. I can change him. Mr. Armando Gonzalez is in the house. How are you doing today, sir? Glad you could join us today, brother.
Doing good, brother. Thank you so much. Sorry, I'm a little tardy, but I had to navigate through New Delhi and through a sea of Teslas with the caution new driver sticker on the back. I hate where I'm at right now, but anyway, I'm here.
New Delhi. Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh my word. Well, so to catch you up, we talked a little bit about the new ballroom. We talked a little bit about what do you see? Yeah, we got the ballroom we discussed. We talked a little bit about Massey. We talked about Trump addressing inflation and prices of things and how things will go down. And he mentions this war is not very long and it's going to be done pretty soon. And of course, we're seeing oil all over Karg Island right now. But anyways, we discussed that. We touched on that. We touched on Woodward. And basically, I think this goes back to COVID. They're going to be holding companies that are doing manufacturing, container manufacturing, holding them accountable as well. And then we did a little bit of Massey, and then we did the Maju Israel stuff of how, Trump's just doing what Susie Wiles wants, and that's that. So I don't know if you had any more input for that or any general statements. The floor is yours for the next good time, sir.
No, I mean, everything right now is what it is. Everything is coming at everybody from all directions, a lot of different topics. Nothing makes any sense. What's up is down and what's down is up. Yeah. For that matter, the only thing that piqued my interest a little bit today was the fact that there is a lot of air traffic going on right now around Cuba. There is also breaking news today that Jorge Mascanosa Jr., son of Senior, which I knew back in the day, has now been tapped on the shoulder by POTUS to lead the way for the interim infrastructure rebuilding of the island. When that's going to happen? Well, tomorrow is the 20th of May, which is the Cuban July 4th, if you will, Independence Day. Let's see what happens, if anything does happen this week. But I know that line is coming to be crossed very, very soon. When? I don't know, right? But that's already been put in play. There's a couple of other players, billionaires for that fact, that I'm probably thinking are going to get the tap on the shoulder to go down there and help out with that. They're in POTUS's inner circle. Am I happy about what I see coming? Let's just go with a 50-50. And the only reason why I say that, because the Diaz-Balarts, the Sugar King, as he calls them, and Maztec, they have some history that I'm not really very fond of, but I'll just leave it there at that. But we don't know. We don't know. We'll have to just wait and see, but that's coming. It's coming soon, very soon.
Yeah, and it's like every week we kind of touch on it because President Trump keeps doing like the round robin. Oh, we're going to make Venezuela the 51st state, and then we're going to make Cuba and
Canada, and all that. But again, we don't know. We don't know. What I do know is that, man, brother, and we've talked about this, offline and here also as well. The closer that we get to the 250th, the closer we get to the midterms on a weekly basis, you're just going to see stuff that is just going to weird people out. And you're like, oh my God, this makes zero sense. The arrests, the indictments, the corruption, the exposure, all this stuff. And we just don't know. We just don't know.
Yeah, they got to do it.
And then the 2026 NDS, go into paragraph 2.
I will read it, sure. Let me see. President Trump has decisively changed that, talking about the nations on the precipice of disastrous wars for which we were unprepared. President Trump has decisively changed that, courageously putting Americans first to truly make America great once again. Under his leadership, the United States has the world's strongest, most lethal, most capable military indeed. The most powerful military that this world has ever seen. No longer will the department be distracted by interventionism, endless wars, regime change, and nation building. Instead, we will put our people's practical, concrete interests first. We will support a policy of actual peace through strength. We will be the sword and shield to deter war with the goal of peace, but ready to fight and win the nation's necessary wars if called upon. I might as well finish out this one here. This does not mean isolationism. To the contrary, it means a focused and genuinely strategic approach to the threats our nation faces and how to best manage them. This approach is based on a flexible, practical realism that looks at the world in a clear-eyed way, which is essential for serving Americans' interests. As the national security strategy articulates, This is the common sense approach President Trump has advanced. Yeah, and that's what we want. We want our country to be taken care of first before we give out any aid and military help and all this, that, and the other to a lot of any other country, really. Like, you know, that movie I like to quote a lot with Nicolas Cage there, and he was beating the crap out of that Democrat dude in the movie. Time for you to clean up your own backyard. All these countries, and us included, because we sure as hell ain't clean, right? You can go to any given state and see tons of homeless people, and the worst part is some, you know, a good person. Not want to say a good percentage, but there are military veterans that are homeless. Like that right there is just, to me, it's unacceptable. And in the things that we're trying to do here, you know, and we were talking about a little bit before we kind of clicked the live on Ghost about, you know, getting back to normal, right? And, you know, I think most of us probably here, like, we want it to go back to, like, you know, maybe the 60s or 70s or something like that, like the time in which
it's not happening.
Yeah, you're never going to get that. That country will never come back ever again. That is buried. That's ancient history. Things will never be that way ever again. Not even the 80s. I'll just put it that way.
But it doesn't mean it won't be as good or better in a different way. And I don't like this. I hate that phrase, new normal. What effing semi-literate Democrat mind came up with that? I don't know. But normal is change. Normal is growth. Normal is development. And the whole world was geared for us to be just the swinging bat for the globalists. We're going to be a swinging bat as long as we have to be to retool this world for commercial and commerce. And that's what everybody gets your paycheck from, no matter what you work in, government, military, industrial complex, however, that'll be retooled for space eventually. And or the local chicken farmer. It doesn't matter. It all comes from the same overall system. You want it to be a better system, or one where the American people are kept floundering left and right, going to fight these ridiculous, pathetic wars like Iraq and Afghanistan for 20 years. 20 years of that shit. All that was is people profit-taking as much as they could in those industries that supported that shit. And the oil, and then there were other things that are a little more esoteric to it, but that's part of it anyway. And that's what this is all about. But but can we be thrown back and forth into things like that make no sense? And there's no real advancement here, or prospering, or thriving. And it has to start someplace. And it is going on to an extent in China and Russia in their own way. But they would rather have endless nonsense like that and just have another tool for them in office than to have the momentum of another very powerful group of people who have a different mindset. Where, yes, we're going to go into the future, and there will be some similar things, of course, but it's not that globalist agenda.
No. I'd like to use, instead of using the word normal, to get back to some sort of point normal there, Spaceshot, is this, okay? I'm not going to call it normal or get back to normal. How about getting back to sanity? And where does that start?
Yes.
Let's get back to us as the individual and get that fixed, get that sanity back for us individually. Then let's get sanity back in the nuclear family, back in the home life. Okay. Let's get right with God. Okay. Let's get back into the picture of that at the home level and at the school level, at your, town, city, county, state, country as it is. And once we get to that, okay, then we could start rebuilding the building blocks, whether it's in the future, George Jetson space age or whatever have you. But it has to start with us individually first. We have to get rid of this divide and conquer, hate everybody, because of where you're from or what you look like, then get it right at home. Take care of mom, take care of mom, dad, children, take care of whoever you can. All right. And just learn to get along. You know, we need to get humanity back, you know, into our realm, if you will, because right now it's chaotic. It really is. And that's what they want. That's what the other side wants. They want everybody
Well,
at
never-
each other's throats.
Or we'll never get to the to walk through that doorway of where we should have been a long, long, long time ago. And doing that, he took over a really shitty run business.
Oh, yeah.
Shittily run, rather. And that's simply what a chief executive officer does. Well, forget this, forget that. And most people aren't used to that because they're used to these just propagandist puppets as presidents, or the sons of them, and representing this other agenda that did not have a pretty future involved in mind for all of humanity. Now, to a certain extent, there are certain things that are going to remain no matter who takes over, because those are human issues. And humanity, yes, it changes in some ways, but fundamentally it doesn't. And they have yet to even find their footing on what they're truly gifted at.
Interesting. Mike, I don't know if you wanted to add anything there before I click on.
No, I'm just agreeing with him. You know, and the other thing was I saw is that I think it's Candace Owens did an OP with Hunter Biden, and Hunter Biden I don't think it's come out yet, but
Thursday.
He's openly admitting to talking about what really went on when his dad was in office.
What?
Yeah.
Well, you got somebody else out there too, Doc. And I don't know if it's true or not, but they had one of the Obama supposed daughters, wearing a MAGA hat at a restaurant walking out in D.C., saying that she's totally on board with Trump, that her father was a disgrace to the country and to the presidency, and she's not on board with any of it. I found that perplexing, if you will. But doesn't look anything like Big Mike or anything like him either. So let that sink in. I don't know.
Well, that's first. I'm going to go on record and say unequivocally that, again, the Nesbitts, Martin, and I forget the mother's name, Nesbitt, Nesbitt, happen to be like the best friends of the Obamas. And oh, by the way, the wife is she's like a nurse that delivers babies, coincidentally. And I'll be damned if the youngest daughter didn't look identical to the mother and the oldest daughter didn't look identical to the father. But neither of them look anything like the Obamas, period. And I did see that. I couldn't verify that video or that picture yet, or Armando. So with the way things are, we're going to have to error on the side of caution on that one just for now. I don't know 100% because I tried to look it up and AI told me it couldn't be verified. So, but again, as to Ghost joke about a half hour ago, look it up on AI. They're wrong half the time as well. So give that caveat.
It knows everything.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't doubt it. But yeah, she does have an interview coming out on Thursday. I think she posted out the other day that Hunter Biden, this Thursday. So here we go. And actually, funny enough, I posted out a comment underneath. It should be, are you going to ask him how close he and Tucker were? Talking about Hunter. Heard Tucker asked the Hunter to write a letter for his kid to get into college. Seems a little closer than, can I borrow some sugar? Right? Like, you're gonna ask somebody that you barely know, like I would never ask my next door neighbor unless I was really friendly with them. Like, hey, could you do this for me? Could you write a letter for whatever? And the idea that he's just, and if you guys saw the interview with Tucker when he had Jesse was asking him about it, he was all sorts of squirmy in there. He's like, oh yeah, I liked them. It's just very weird. So we'll see. And again, this whole thing, I even have some of the people I used to work with that are like, he actually posted this video out to me and said, oh, see, a real patriot. And I was like, dude, you gotta be, you're kidding me, right? The crackhead. You're kidding me, I hope. And he's like, no. Actually, the funny thing is he just sent me a text right this very second. Trump is absolutely obsessed with this guy's playbook. And he's talking to, Hitler, of course, right? So I'm telling you guys, there are some that are out there, and we were told by the drops, 4 to 6% of the world are pretty much just gone and they can't be helped. Unfortunately, I think that may be a little bit more, guys, just a little bit more. But I did have some, I wanted to play this for you guys, not this. We already played this, but this. And then I wanted to make a comment and then let you guys go to town on this for a second. But here we go.
UN inspectors believe Iran has close to 1,000 pounds of uranium enriched to 60%, nearly ready to be used in a nuclear weapon.
970 pounds of 60% highly enriched uranium. What can you do with that?
So that is enough material for, if you enrich it just a little bit more, for 10 to 11 nuclear bombs. Iran has been lying about its nuclear weapons effort for over 20 years now. They have always claimed our program was 100% peaceful. We were never pursuing nuclear weapons. That's a lie. And then once the international inspectors got in and started finding some things out, the Iranians kept lying to them.
UN inspectors believe Iran has close.
So they're saying close to 1,000 pounds of enriched uranium, around 60%. And so I guess the long and short I'm trying to get out to the folks is to let everybody understand, like, this everyday business that we've been dealing with for as long as anybody can remember, there's always been some bad guy, some boogeyman, and there always seem to be over there, like North Korea, the Middle East, right? Always away from us. That the boogeyman always has this conflict, and that we always have to go send our guys out there to fight. And then even some people will be to the contrary. It was like, well, Trump's over there in Iran right now. Yeah, we're trying to get it so there is. And that's how I'm looking at it, guys. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm looking at Iran like the last deep state holdout, because beyond them, like, where else do we have to go clean up? Like, I understand there are some countries, but not like the big bad boogeyman. I'm looking at them like the final boss and the deep state's last refuge of a holdout over there. Because for me, it seemed, and I wasn't privy to all the ins and outs and the back channel talks or whatever, but it seemed to me them dealing with North Korea was like a snap of the finger compared to what they're dealing with Iran. So I don't know who would like to take the heat on that one.
I'll just say very simply, you're basically right. That's what they were. That's what we've explained it a number of times. And then Cuba being right there, a stone's throw away. I think when they said, well, we're going to send a 300 drone attack to Miami. Okay, fine. What was responded to that? That's okay. We'll take them in 6 hours.
Let them send the drones in. I'm encouraging them. If they're listening to me out there, since I'm being listened to and know where I am, send them. Send the drones into Florida. Send them into Miami. Okay? You can start in Dade County, as a matter of fact.
You'll see how fast the 101st and the 82nd Airborne react.
Your clocks will be cleaned in 6 minutes flat. Trust me. Just do it, please, so we can end this shit.
There'd be a lot of puking, crapping guys in the beginning, too.
Yeah.
Havana syndrome. some more stuff came on that as well. Some more stuff came out on Havana, and I don't know. I know I put it aside for a thing, but I know another piece of information came out. I think it may have been a whistleblower, but there are a lot of whistleblowers coming out lately. And guys, I generally don't like to rehash, old news, and I don't ever do that. However, I'm going to make that caveat today. I did send you guys these couple of links, and I think it's important to maybe get perhaps a different perspective on a couple of these things. So I'm going to click this one here. And of course, it never wants to open on the screen that I want. So this happened on the 17th. So Sinaloa Senator Enrique Inzunza, surrenders to U.S. federal officials in San Diego. So they basically, he was in Mexico, and then they were saying, oh, is he going to testify? No, I'm not talking with anybody. Well, then 2 weeks later, he comes in and hands himself in. He literally handed himself in to, I think it was the DEA or whatever, our feds anyway. But then, right, I also brought this on yesterday's show, which this was from 3 days ago. And again, to me, this is like for the people out there that are like, oh, Israel, Iran, BB, Susie Wiles, etc. It's like, well, what is this here? So Gorka says, late Thursday night, FBI agents landed at New York Stewart International Airport with Mohammed al-Sadi in handcuffs. Al-Sadi, leader of an Iran-backed Iraqi terror group, allegedly responsible for more than 20 attacks across Europe, Canada, and for planning attacks in the USA. Jose Enrique Martinez Flores, who goes by Chuqui, is the highest-ranking Trinidad leader to be extradited to the U.S., just also happened to land in the U.S. in shackles. Flores also allegedly oversaw TDA's drug trafficking, extortion rackets, prostitution rings, and murder ops. Then, last night, in an operation that makes any fictional representation look amateurish, American operators working with local Nigerian forces killed Abu Bilal al-Manuki, the second in command for ISIS global operations, a man with blood of countless innocents on his hands, including many Christians. So they say we salute the many intelligence professionals, law enforcement officers, diplomats, military operators, and support personnel who make these operations possible. So 3 big-time heavy high rollers are pulled in shackles within a 24-hour period, and then on top of that, this guy, like a day later, says, you know what, I'm going to hand myself in. So we have people that are basically handing themselves in on top of major rollers, high rollers that are getting wrapped up at the same time. Is this what you guys meant by things are going to start getting busier?
Yeah, they're gonna be, so they're gonna turn themselves in as an informants, roll on everybody else, so they can communicate their sentence, not get a sentence, and basically roll on everyone else, and so they can have a happy life after they give up everybody. It's in the narco world and narcotics, it's you wrap someone up who has 5-10 kilos on them, and they rat on who they their main guy they got it from, and then you go after him, and he rats out on a guy, and then you go up to the big boss, and then the big boss rats out on everybody else. And it's just, so it's not like the 1990s or the 80s anymore. It's just the way the 21st century is everybody rats now.
Well, it's a hellfire or a ride to the U.S. Which do you choose?
Yeah. Then you just had another, I forget what country it was from. You had their president who basically said, hasta luego, and he beat feet. He just left.
Really?
Oh, yeah, Bolivia.
There you go. Thank you, Doc.
Well, and that's another thing, too, is with what President Trump is doing now is, and what these people are doing, turning themselves in, is like, President Trump is killing nation leaders. He killed the president of Iran. He's wiped out their entire, military cabinet. He's taken out, narco leaders, taken out their sicarios, taken out, everybody. If I'm under DEA or ATF or federal investigation and I continue to fight back, well, he's just going to take me out. He's going to send a Hellfire missile where I'm at, or send in a very good operator, whoever it is, work in conjunction, parallel with law enforcement on Title 50 or whatever title it may be, to do its bidding. And so instead of them, look at themselves in a mirror, well, maybe I should just turn myself in, and maybe I have a better outcome. Just see where I can give up and get a better deal.
It's bad. I mean, I've seen some of the things that these guys do to people, and
oh yeah,
one of the ones I thought was extra special was the how they bind you, tie your hands behind your backs, and tie your hands to your wrist to your ankles, and then they get a 50-gallon drum, make sure it's nice and hot and fiery, and then drop you in there like that. That was one of the great methods I thought was extra gross. I mean, think
it's
about
more merciful to chainsaw you to pieces alive before that. So many things these people have done.
When I worked in Juarez, working surveillance.
Oh God, I could imagine.
Yeah, this is 2000. I'm just gonna say 2010, 2014 era. they were throwing policemen, judges off the bridges, hanging them, and
Oh, yeah.
they put a tire around a judge's head or a attorney's head and fill it full of petrol, diesel, styrofoam, pack it in there, and light the uh, light up the tire. So the head just burns and the body's still there. And I think what they call that the tortilla, something I forget. Yeah, and yeah, Juarez was insane. I mean, at that time you had the Los Zetas fighting the Cenewalas. At one point, it was the Los Zetas came in fighting the Sinaloa cartel. The Mexican Marines came in. The Federales came in, and the Marines and the Federales and the locals just all backed up and just let the two hash it out with each other in the middle of the city. And I believe CNN was there too on the ground filming the whole thing, and we were there at a on top of a rooftop somewhere where we're conducting our ISR, and it was the first time we had seen something at this level of magnitude, to where like this is very, very similar to Iraq. Very similar. They had 50 cals. They had Mark 14s. Just everything that it was insane, pure insane. And in today's day, what they have now, they have man pads, they have drones. They'll fly drones over from Mexico to the U.S. and drop grenades on border patrol cars, and they'll drop and they have snipers, on the Mexico side to shoot at the DSP, Texas DSP, or Arizona Highway Patrol, California too. Just to basically, shoot in front of them, shoot their car. Hey, don't go this way. We're doing something. And I had a friend who had worked in Fast and Furious, and there was a very notable border patrol agent that was murdered, Mr. Terry, and Agent Terry, and so when upon his death, he was murdered, and by the time the coroners had gotten to him, and they said he was just murdered within 45 minutes to an hour, his body was already in rigor mortis. And yeah, and so and this is a cold case investigation now, and it's still not been correctly investigated because of the corruption inside of those certain agencies, organizations. And this is the time of Fast and Furious, and so Terry was killed over his knowledge of Fast and Furious, and he hid a little bit of knowledge inside of his boots and his work boots, and so the girlfriend at the time had found it. And when she was going through his personal belongings, and there was names, there was audio tapes saved on flash drives, there was audio, video, basically all this evidence, and so now the girlfriend actually had to go into hiding because she had found all this information, and Senator Grassley got involved, and to this day. The whole thing was orchestrated and ran parallel through Fast and Furious. Yeah, so I mean, I could tell you everything. I could tell you everything about Terry. They murdered him. Yeah, he was murdered. That there was he was shot. He was shot with a 45, and he was shot hours before by fellow so and so people who thought who he thought they were his friends, of course, right? And then called in, and oh, it was mules, it was coyotes that had shot him, and his body was already in rigors. And so, yeah, it's his family deserves you know to close the investigation the real way. And and there's telling this on there, there's a lot of it goes very high. And
Oh God, yeah.
the people that are involved that should have lost their jobs actually got promoted. So people are, maybe a director, maybe a assistant director, maybe a new, captain or whatever, maybe a secretary. I'm just throwing it out there, that, Terry's death isn't going unnoticed. Just because someone's the secretary of something.
Ooh. Gee, who was the Secretary of State at that time? I think that was Hillary. I'm not mistaken, but I know we also had Holder was the Attorney General. Oh, but he was cleared of wrongdoing in the Operation Fast and the Furious scandal. Of course he was.
Now you got to look at the broader homeland, the homeland of things. Yeah, it's the broader homeland of just everything. Yeah, you just got to look at the broader homeland.
I feel like that's a coded message right there, but I don't know what it means exactly.
Right,
you
want to take it. You want to take it a step further during Fast and Furious. What about the shipments of weapons that were supposed to go over to Benghazi? For our allies, Al Qaeda, and the arms dealer that received, let's say, I'm getting 5 pallets of weapons coming over here. This is the arms dealer, the trader, right? Not trader as bad man, but just the business guy, right? Only received 1. Well, what happened to the other 4? We don't know. Never came. Where did it go? I don't know.
Wow.
Go down that rabbit hole sometime. You'll be shocked what you find.
Yeah, and you also had trains, containers on trains that were going through Indian Nation and to Mexico, back and forth. And, and that was, one of the routes, and, once you're Title 50 on an operation, a mission down there, you get to see, all the, not just exotic stuff happening, but all of the human half of evilness that's going on and being run through, Indian national or Indian sovereign territory, with buybacks in those people's pockets. Oh, you want something else? We'll give that to you. Okay, just let us do this. It's classic Title 50 stuff.
Yeah, and so for the folks out there who didn't know what Title 50 is, including myself, is a United States code that governs war and national defense, providing the legal framework for national security, defense policy, intelligence operations, and, key word here, emergency powers. And that's something that had been alleged. I don't know if there's any, and again, I don't know that there is for sure or is not. I'm just kind of putting this out there, but there has been allegations in the past that Benghazi, they were running guns. So they're basically saying the guy, Chris, I forgot the guy's last name. Stevens, yes.
The ambassador.
So, I mean, do you guys think there's anything to that where because I think the way people were shading it was that he was actually running some guns.
No, he had discovered things. And if you notice you can go back to the film and they say he's a true believer. Meaning that he discovered some things he wasn't supposed to, and then he had sent some communications that were expressing his disagreement with it. And they didn't want something like that coming out with a competent comment from someone like an ambassador of his caliber.
Yeah, so then they made the whole fake videotape recording thing, and then all these guys, they just rushed the embassy because of some video.
They were tipped off, and then those poor guys like Tonto and all those guys had to do what they could with what they had in the time they had, and turned into a real mess.
Damn.
Yeah.
All
Just
sorts of things.
imagine if those fighters that had came, towards the embassy and did what they did, if they were paid. That'd be kind of crazy too, right?
Yeah, yeah. And you can tell there weren't a lot of professionals among them, how they came at them.
The part that
But
got me
they
is when you
were
had
they
the,
were very fierce. I'm sorry, go ahead, Armando.
the part that got me out of that entire deal, and if you've ever served in that capacity or that role, you'll understand what I'm saying. From an ordnance point anyway, when you laze a target, you basically give up your position, right? It's just how it goes. The enemy, you just gave up your position, but it's like a Hail Mary, right? So when you have that C-130 freaking gunship, circling around you, waiting, and you're waiting to, come on, you know where they're at, take them out, take them out, take them out. Well, they didn't. Well, why? Well, the order never came down. Well, he was supposed to give the order. That was Hillary.
Yep. And with Hillary too, there was two teams, two special forces teams, and I think a team of SEALs that were almost 90% there, and they were told to turn around.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, they were so close. They could have, jumped out of the aircraft, been on ground, assisted in the fight, and they were told to turn around.
That was a QRF team from a neighboring country, very, very close. And they were said, nope, 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 abort, and get out.
And the general who was over AFRICOM in Heidelberg, they arrested him on the tarmac because he had basically had enough of this shit and was going to handle it. And they detained him on the tarmac. And then he went to another position and retired.
Wow. I mean, it's just like a movie, guys, right? Like,
just like a movie.
It's becoming a movie.
Yeah, it's either you get promoted, you retire, or you go to jail, or ultimately the end.
Or the classic fail your way to the top, right? That's what Doc was talking about earlier. Well, some of these people got promoted, right? They went here, they went there. Well, you fail your way to the top. You do a shitty job, you get promoted.
It's called the Peter Principle. You fail your way to the top.
Well, and just for anybody out there, like this is exactly like you would see in a movie, and that is in that, like, oh my God, me and Armando just got found out by Ghost and Mike. What are we gonna do, Armando? They know our secret. Well, they gotta go, right? Because we gotta protect ourselves, and that's what they did. And then I wonder if they even think about the stuff in the moment while this stuff is happening, like. This is going to come up to a friggin' congressional hearing and whatever. It's like, who cares later on? I'll just tell them, what difference at this point does it make, right? And so these are the things that we need to get past and to make sure it can never happen again, because it's just so out of control that these things seem to happen, too often for my taste. Let's put it that way.
Well, you're absolutely right, because this came up to the Senate Intelligence Committee, and it came up to a couple different other hearings through Congress and through the Senate, and it was just put on your white gloves, and clean, and it was cleaned. Just I guess just like you're saying, kind of overlooked, scrubbed.
But if you really think about it, this is nothing new, guys. This has been going on forever. I remember explicitly during Ollie North's days and the Contra affair and stuff like that. They brought him up for the committee, in front of the committee, and started interrogating him, basically, in my opinion, right? Who gave the order? Well, my commander-in-chief gave the order. And who is your commander-in-chief? He didn't answer that. He says, if my commander-in-chief told me to go down to the street corner and stand on my hands and knees, I don't question. I salute smartly, and I go and I carry out the order. That's it. So then they're going to bring who? None other than, was it William Casey? Not Poindexter. It was Casey. He was supposed to go up in the committee to testify the next day. Well, I don't know. All of a sudden, the guy gets a brain hemorrhage overnight and he's gone. Well, that man can't speak. Right? So same shit, same thing, different timeline, but it's been going on forever, man.
Wow.
And that's what we're trying to clean up right now is all that garbage, man, because I'm telling you, if you don't clean it up, your house will never be clean. It will stay dirty forever, forever, forever. And that's just the way it goes.
Yeah, and we need to, like I said before, we need to clean up our own backyard and do a good job of that. And this is, if you guys remember, you want to get sick to your stomach really quick. Listen to this. Oh, I muted the tab, but she's not talking anyways. Here we go.
It's made then. You wrote in your book, Hard Choices, that you were directing the State Department response the night of September 11th, 2012, but you also stated that you left your office on the night of the attacks and went to your home in Northwest Washington because you said you knew the next few days were going to be taxing and the department was going to be looking to you. I want to talk about a few things. Do you have a skiff in your home?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and who else was at your home? Were you alone?
I was alone, yes.
The whole night?
Well, yes, the whole night.
Well, I don't know why that's funny. I mean, did you have any in-person briefings? I don't find it funny at all.
So people were laughing.
It was Uba Aberdeen. Right.
It was Hoomer and Anthony and his wiener were there with me. But some people before were saying like, oh, she's there. There is one thing, one disease out there that makes you laugh at inopportune times or inopportunistic times, and you get that from eating brains. I think was it Kuru disease? I think it is. And again,
disease?
What is it? Prions?
Prions, I think. Yeah, from the brains of a cow or a human.
Yeah, Kuru disease
Or,
side
yeah,
effects.
no, I think you're right. It's Kuru. You're talking about human flesh, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah. Yeah, it's yeah. I'm gonna have to let me. I know what you're talking about, but yes.
Patients experience unsteadiness due to cerebral damage, along with shivering, unusual body movements, exaggerating reflexes. Emotional instability may also manifest, including bursts of laughter or crying. I mean, we're talking about people that are, that are dead because of this situation. And she's asked, "Oh, were you alone?" "Yes, the whole night." And I could see, like, yeah, the whole night. But this laugh?
Do you have a skiff in your home?
Here we go.
The whole night?
Well, yes, the whole night.
Like right there, I would say, okay, that was good.
Well, I don't know why that's funny. I mean, did you have any in-person briefings? I don't find it.
And then there's no like bashfulness to like, oh wait, I shouldn't even be laughing here. Like, whoop, let's shut myself up. She went in for like round 2.
What was that? That little spasm she had in the airport that time.
Hold on.
That was kind of freaky.
You have got to try the cold chai. You've got to try the cold chai. Oh, where is it? Oh, no, that's not it. But yeah, that's what it was. It was cold chai, and she was basically started doing that whole thing with her head wobbling back and forth. And then even the woman that was in front of her was looking at her like, oh my God, cold chai. Here we go. Let's see where the original is. All right, so this is again, somebody's saying this is Kuru disease, and okay, well, here we go.
And how do you meet with Senator Warren? Did you talk about vice presidential possibilities with Senator Warren?
You guys have got to try the cold chai.
Gotta try it, guys. The cold chai and a little side of crystal meth, maybe. I don't know what the hell was that.
Well, it could have been a twatsicle melted.
Oh. June 10th, 2016 by Outlets. And yeah, she's definitely got some doubles out there that we've seen numerous times. But yeah, really bad situation with all of that stuff. And we need to get, transparent and open too. I don't know if you guys have any comments on that other thing about that I sent you guys about all those Wall Street firms basically tokenizing their crypto and this, that, and the other. I don't know what they're trying to do. Did you guys make any sense of that stuff? That video where he's saying basically I don't know what they were doing, to be honest with you. They're basically sounded like they were backing it with digital coins or tokens. And again, I'm bad with this stuff, so you guys are probably like, what the hell?
It might be something. I don't really, I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm really not ready. I couldn't comment on that. I don't know, but understand this: there are two banks right now on a list of watching for failure.
Ruh-roh.
And a lot of, you look at BlackRock and a few at Vanguard, State Street, they're heavily invested in the bond market. Now, people are making the point that there's 1 point something billion interest a day on 40 trillion. Well, that's just added to the daily budget, by the way, and then that's reflected in bonds. That's dispersed in bonds. And bond simply is a negotiable instrument in the sense in that it can, you've got it, you hold it for X amount of years, you get that and the 200 modest interest on it. And all of that is tax-free to those who buy the bonds. This is how future income is secured.
The 233-year-old
or corporations. That's completely free of any encumbrance, of any burdens. So there's a lot going on in that regard right now. That's where I would direct people to look. And then you might be able to derive the moves made from it.
I read a while ago, just to what Ghost was saying, that everybody knows, the banks, doesn't matter where they are, they're basically insolvent, right? It's just the fact. They're insolvent. So they started, especially BlackRock, they started investing heavily in metals, silver, gold, and all that stuff, and then using the QFS 2.0 backing it with crypto also as well until they're
hedging.
What? Yeah, until they become solvent, right? And then they repeat the fraud over again. It's like, hey, we're solvent now, so you want a loan? You want a car? You want a house? Yeah, we got you. No worries. Because now they're solvent again, right? Well, apparently that went off the rails and it became a train wreck. But yeah, they're in trouble. They're in trouble. So that's just coming. When? Who knows? But it's coming. I was told this by a corporate banker in a circle of not really friends, but acquaintances. And he kind of looked at me when I voiced this a few years ago, and he goes, "How do you know that?" I said, "What do you mean? How do you know that? That we just had a board meeting, I think he was with Chase or something like that, local here." He said, "We just had a board meeting and that's like hush hush. Nobody's supposed to know about that. We talked about the same thing you're just saying right now." And I'm like, "Well, I research, I do my homework." And he looked at me like a deer in headlights, like he had seen a freaking ghost or something. No pun intended, but it freaked him out. And there went that conversation. He didn't talk for the rest of the night. He just pulled out his chair from the table and walked away and kind of went, over to the barbecue pit. We were having a barbecue and he just kind of fizzled. But yeah, it's coming.
Well, as Gerald Salente likes to repeat, and he's right, you shall know them by their moves. You have to watch certain key aspects of what they're doing, not what they're saying, what they're pumping out to people, what they're doing. And it's very easy to back engineer their problems and their remedies for those problems.
Damn. So, and again, these are terms that I'm not fully understanding as well, but he says basically the DTCC, that they're the basically the home of this stuff. He said basically they have custody 114 trillion in securities, and he said on May 4th of this year, the DTCC announced they're tokenizing it completely. 50 plus firms are on board. BlackRock, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Bank of America, Citibank, Charles Schwab. Says the actual rails that move every American stock trade are being switched to the blockchain. Not in 5 years, we're talking about in 5 months. He says, are you listening? Then 8 days after that, May 12th, the DTCC partnered with Chainlink to handle the tokenized collateral. Chainlink is a protocol, crypto DeFi protocol, the most invisible, most regulated piece of Wall Street's plumbing, just got publicly married to crypto. Officially crypto infrastructure. He says, do you understand what I'm saying? May 13th, JP Morgan went live on Ethereum. their second tokenized money market fund. They were seeded with $100 million. The J.P. Morgan, whose CEO Jamie Dimon, as we know, called Bitcoin a fraud in 2017. May 8th, Federal Reserve Governor Lael Brainerd stood at Central Bank and gave an entire speech mapping how tokenization is going to reshape the entire financial system. The Federal Reserve, the institution that prints every dollar in your wallet, publicly planning around the new payment rails of the world. 5 days later, the Senate confirmed Warsh as the Fed chair. He personally owns stakes in Bitcoin, payment companies, DeFi protocols, stablecoin companies. The man that runs American monetary policies makes money the faster this happens. He said it's going to make sure it happens May 14th. The next day, Senate Banking Committee passes the Clarity Act 15-9, heading to the Senate floor. White House targeting a July 4th signing. That's $4 trillion from J.P. Morgan, $14 trillion from BlackRock, State Street, and another $30 trillion in custody. The DTCC is $114 trillion in clearing, plus 20 more banks queuing at Anchorage, waiting to issue stablecoins. $162 trillion of traditional finance, almost twice the entire global world GDP. They're leaving the signs right in front of your face. Do you understand? You need to research, please. And again, so these are
DTCC is Depository Trust and Clearing Corporation. It's the equivalent of SWIFT for clearing North American transactions, primarily American. And SWIFT and DTCC perform the same functions basically here and there and globally for foreign transactions, anything to do with where their jurisdiction is based. And a couple of years ago, I think it was about 2 years ago, they bought XLM. And that was, I think, a way for them to familiarize and study and experiment, redesign, improve. Many things would go into that. So that if you were going to then be able to, because crypto is just a faith in the idea that it has value. But whatever will hold value in any type of transition, they're going to hedge themselves in healthfully. It's just a preservation technique. If nobody was doing anything like this, any type of switch over to a new one, where I expect to see a detour that is unexpected now, is Federal Reserve's role in it will be less and less to nothing. And then it would make a great thing to absorb into Treasury as not what it was before. But you can't just shut one off and shut the other on. That would cause everything in the world to go end over end. And no one would, it would be a very high price in recovering. A lot of damage. So when you have these types of things happening where let's say one direction is overtaking another, those in it who are being overtaken see that it's inevitable. And then that's when negotiations begin, which began a long time ago. That's when, let's say, pies aren't carved up. Negotiations are begun so that they can maintain some sort of relevancy for a time. I hope that helps a little.
Yes, I mean, so for the slow people in the back like myself, it seems like they are swapping over systems, and in the meantime, these guys are trying to basically protect themselves the best they can while the switch over happens or swap over happens, in a nutshell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because every time that they do that, it's less damage to everyone, all of us.
They got to sprinkle it. They can't open up the fire hose on this. It's got to be drip by drip by drip, little by little. They cover their tracks, they do their backwalk, if you will. Because like Go says, if you were to go full on with this thing, just like that overnight, we'd be in a pickle.
Implosion, right?
Oh God, yeah.
Implosion.
You'd have too many losses.
Yeah, we
and
definitely
too many angry people, and retirements lost, pensions, insurance coverage, many things.
401ks, all that stuff.
Oh, well, seeing as we're speaking about money and stuff, and we definitely got to take some time to hit the grand scale and see what's new in Iran lately. But this is interesting. How long is this? Minute and a half? Let's listen to him. Any of you guys got to take a pee or anything like that? Got Tim Burchett talking about something very close to home. I like right in my wheelhouse.
Hey everybody, Tim Burchett. Just left the Doge committee, which I chair, dealing with the IRS and providing better service, making it more fair and equitable for everybody. It's funny, a lot of people wanted to get on this committee. I didn't see them today. It seemed like it's a very timely issue, but the chair lady and I are not, as I told her, I said we ought to pick a fight with each other and dare each other to go out in the parking lot so we could settle it out there. Maybe we could get the press covering this stuff, but we're actually going to propose some more legislation dealing with some constituent issues I've had dealing with the IRS to fix some problems and not make it worse. You got to start somewhere, and this is where we start. I doubt this will get the ratings. Hey, dude. Good, brother. I doubt this is going to get the press that a lot of the stuff we do. But it's sure as heck is needed. People are really frustrated with the IRS. It can take me months to get a response sometimes from them for a constituent. So I can't imagine what somebody calling in the so-called helplines or hotlines will get. But anyway, we'll keep working on it. Thank y'all so much for saying.
So, he's saying that they're going to be, looking into the IRS, formally moving to Doge the IRS. This cannot go well for the IRS if they genuinely do a real, doging on it. And wait, where do those funds go? Because I was here in California talking about some other funding methods other than taxes for their, schools and roads and stuff like that. Because guys, if they don't have the IRS, then how are they going to pay for all the roads and the schools and all that stuff out there? I think they definitely need to expose whatever is going on there. Any of you guys got a solid answer where the money really goes to the IRS? Is that going out to Puerto Rico? Is it going to England?
To pay interest on the. It's going to pay interest on the bonds.
Yeah.
From 20 and 30 years ago, mind you.
Yeah, right. And
so that's why they say today's debt is your grandchildren's. Well, now it's your great-grandchildren if the system continues the way it is, and it can't. It's been abused. There's been far too much corruption. The amount of corruption, if you were to go through all these records, only AI could do that, by the way, with millions of lines of code in the IRS. Nonsense.
So where does California, to answer that, where does California get their tax dollars for, road infrastructure, bridges, whatever? That's simple. Newsom is now floating the idea of imposing a mileage tax. You get taxed on how many miles you drive your vehicle, right? Because, if you don't need to go here, or let's take another one, for example. Let's take Seattle, Washington, right? Or Oregon, I believe. No more pleasure cruising. You can't jump in your 1967 Mustang on a Sunday and say, hey, let's go cruising. Well, if you're not driving anywhere for a reason, like grocery store, pharmacy, or whatever, that's okay. But if you're just going to go out to go cruising, nah, can't have that anymore. Can't have it. You'll be taxed. You'll be fined. These people just make stuff up just out of their six, man. I don't know how you people can live in those states. Really can't. But anyway.
Yeah, because all of that is against the constitutional right to travel.
Yep.
Well, with a lot of the money and the, floating around and, being pulled out of different coffers here in California, today or, earlier in 24 and, coming up now, the LA County, like here in LA County, the LA County Ethics Commission serves as the corruption watchdog, which serves over everything for the Commission of Office of Ethics and Compliance. And what they found out was with the Ethics Commission, there was hundreds of millions of dollars being funneled out of the Ethics Commissions who were finding the money that was being taken out of fraudulent other, investigations and other places. And so that money went to the commission, and then that money was funneled out of the commission into other people's pockets. So
wow.
And that's continuing on today.
Just scummy. It's so bad to live in that
the
state.
IRS is it's simply this. You're 16 years old, you got your Social Security card out of your mom's drawer, and you got your first job and at a McDonald's, whatever it is, where they want you to fill out forms for FICA and all of that nonsense. You fill it out. What you are not told then is that you've just engaged in a unilateral, uninformed consent adhesion contract, which states, now from here on out, since you chose to do business with us, you didn't have much of a choice, did you? But you actually did, but nobody was there to tell you you didn't, and then how to do it. And most employers don't know how to do it. So they're like, well, we're confused. You do it our way or you're not getting the job. Well, that's where you have to educate them. Most people don't go to that extent. But then they'll tell you, hey, ignorance of the law is no excuse. So you should have known all that. And you could have gotten around it because it is a voluntary system.
It certainly
But
is.
you are told.
They don't
you
tell
are
us.
told it's voluntary, and you're not told it's a voluntary. It's a voluntary contract. Everything is a contract. Everything.
Yeah, it's a voluntary contract, but if you don't pay it, they throw your can in jail.
Because that's the stipulation in the contract that you didn't read when you were 16 years old. Now you're 25 and you learn all this and you go, well, I don't want to pay taxes. Well, you're in a bit of a pickle then. How are you going to live? Unless you're wealthy. If you're wealthy, just sit on your ass for 10 years. Then start doing things. When they come after you, you simply say, are you asking to contract with me again? No, but no, put it in writing. Thank you. Click, end of conversation. And they're not going to call you back. Or they may put it in writing, but then you simply write them a very, very nice courtesy letter back. Thank you for your offer. But however, at this time, it shall not be acted upon for execution. I didn't use any pronouns, did I?
No.
Okay. That's just a little smidge of an opening of a door of a very big library.
Ooh. So do you think there's anything to that dude, David Wynn Miller, and his syntax grammar Constitution thing? Have you
Yes,
heard
there
that?
is.
Oh yeah.
You were
why you
looking
said
at
that?
how sovereigns. You were looking at how sovereigns engage in contracts.
Interesting. Now, what's
And he
the
was
deal
telling
with that?
you that.
Like, what's
What do
the
you mean?
deal
What's the deal with that?
with like the no pronouns? Because when when they write a sentence, it looks very foreign to me, and I'm not the best literature guy in the world,
Because
but it's
pronouns are attaching you in the corporate entity as one. You're taking a trustee or fiduciary responsibility for that corporate entity. That once that corporate entity enters into an agreement again, you are bound to abide by that agreement on behalf of your corporate entity.
Yeah.
It's a very, very large, complex, mercurial shell game that's played at this point. And if you don't understand these things, and the public does not, and when you're someone like Wynn Miller and you're going out there, well, the three of us know an individual, he's been a friend of mine for many, many years, who knew David well. And yes, David was silenced for that.
wow.
Yeah,
So,
and David, with oddly enough, when Bill and President Clinton went on trial or impeachment for the Monica Lewinsky incident, it was David who was coaching President Bill Clinton.
And the definition of what is.
Yeah,
That's where that came from. That's where that came
Really?
from, though. Sounded funny to everybody else, but he was actually posing a parse syntax grammar question to them. And they didn't know how to answer it, did they?
Are you kidding me? Friggin' Bill Clinton, what is the definition of is, came from
That
friggin' David
depends.
Minwiller?
Yeah.
Wow. Oh my God. That is dude. Somebody said
But he was right.
They
He
like
was
when I say
actually
bananas.
right in
That is
asking that.
bananas.
Yeah.
Dude,
He was right in asking that because he was trying, I think, to bring the openly. Normally, that won't be allowed to bring that into that realm. And it wasn't going to happen. The
wow.
ending was already predetermined, so just get on with the. But you asked him to coach you. Clinton probably didn't know where he was coming from until it was explained to him. Now, do you see where ignorance can abound, regardless of what title someone has to their name?
Oh, absolutely. I'm trying to look up what a regular one of these looks like versus like a current book. Like the current law versus one of these.
It'll be harder to find it. In administrative law, you won't find much of that.
Oh no. I mean, I'm looking for the regular, like not his written version, but like what a regular Title 18 law line looks like. Sorry, Mike. Go ahead, buddy.
Oh, good.
18. No, I'm just searching. If you got something you want to.
You can go. There is a website that's a government website that has all the USC on it, and you can break it down, go through it. Cornell's got a good one, yeah.
There's
Cornell's
another.
actually. Go ahead.
There's another good person who picked up Miller's David's work is Chase Hughes, and
really?
Chase Hughes actually took it off like wildfire and spun it into a bunch of different directions and taught a ton of different institutions and organizations.
Because as we were texting yesterday, there's everything from neurolinguistic programming being used in all of this and it's important that people understand the premise of neurolinguistic programming. And I could say to you, Mike, that girl, Spaceshot, I'm sorry, that girl is hot, okay? And you look at her, and this is pretty girl, and Daisy Dukes and all that kind of crap, and you go, wow, yeah, and I meant, no, she's sweating, she's hot. You made an assumption, didn't you?
Yeah.
Now, if I didn't say to correct you, my intention of what that was and your intention are two different things, and your acceptance and then making it your intent is two different things. She's sweating like crazy. That's what I meant. But you saw the other part, and the other part, though true, you assumed it was that. That's how people get screwed in contracts. That's why parse syntax grammar doesn't allow for that to happen, where every day, all day long, everyone who talks any words, that's everyone that is listening to this, including us, it's incumbent upon you to make your intent as specifically contoured in words as possible if you want more of your meaning to get through. Otherwise, on average, it's 17% of what's in your head really shows in the other. I can say the word tree. Picture a tree, everyone. And if 4 billion people are listening to this, there will be 4 billion different trees, different species, different shapes. And even if they're very close together, they will never be the same. So that's how easy it is to institute neurolinguistic programming on an entire public.
Yeah. And this guy also went with it as well. I think I don't know, have you ever met this guy, Sergeant Robert Horton? I think he was partners or maybe mentored by David Miller. I'm not sure. But he's kind of going off on the same thing, and he does credit David Wynn Miller for a lot of these things. But he made this documentary called War Castles, essentially. And so, like, I've been asking folks during the shows, like, how far are we going to take this stuff back? President Trump going to, arrest some folks or whatever, try to clean up the government? Or, like, are we going back to, are they going to try to take us back to a constitutional republic and all of that? Like, and that's where I think that we're heading back to, or I think they're trying to lean us back towards. I could be wrong, but
I think more towards the if you want to really get back to it, you don't have a government now that's in the proper jurisdiction to even do it. The jurisdiction of the republic still exists, but it's vacant. Over the years, prior to and post 1913, all of this was done through it's starting actually in following the Civil War with the 14th Amendment. It freed no one. It gave everyone then the ability to have instituted without their knowledge or consent, but there would be some type of implied consent if you acted on any aspect of it, to be either a corporate citizen or a private citizen. That's with a capital P. And all of this stuff out there about sovereign citizen, all that stuff, it's all nonsense. It was an op designed to get people off on the right information in the wrong way.
Yep.
You would be taught just enough to get yourself in trouble, but not enough to actually break the veil of sovereignty. However, there are those of us who've done it. And the King of England or the English Supreme Court, the Supreme Court of England, says so. Oops, I shouldn't have said that. Well, that's why I've said for many, many years, we've never won the Revolutionary War. It never ended.
Yep.
Because as soon as those banks were instituted back into our country, that Jefferson warned of, Madison warned of, all of them warned of, where Jefferson said we would wake up one day cold and tired and homeless on the very continent our forefathers left us. And that's what you're finding today, isn't it? Now, well, don't you think that in order to overcome something that massive, that ingrained, that a part of everyone's life, where they don't even think about law and money in the proper way, they think about it in the way they were trained to keep the system strong, to keep them from killing each other. That's what it's really all about. It always has been a new system to keep human beings from abusing one another. Cartels that they could rise to the size they are in a third world country, because effectively that's what you are if you're allowing that to that extent. No, we just let them in from an intel basis to go along with the agenda to silence all of you. That's part of it, to kill 150,000 of your youth every year. But all of this, if you're not seeing the bigger picture of taking out Iran, Venezuela, Bolivia rolling over, Colombia is probably doing it. Yes, they are doing the same thing as of a few months back, so that they don't have people snatched or whatever the term was. It was funny, or hellfires fall on their head. All of this has to be done before you can take steps towards reestablishing a better tomorrow in this country, with, again, resting back on constitutional edicts that have all been strayed away from, or loopholed, or snaked around within the law. Law is hair splitting. What's legal is hair splitting. What's lawful is fundamental.
Big difference.
So people have to just start paying attention to even these more, and I know it hurts your brain. Believe me, 30 years of a headache I can relate to. But all of this stuff has a very, very detailed and vibrant existence to this moment. And part of it.
Ask yourself this question. Ask yourself this question for not only Spaceshot, you probably know, maybe you know, I don't know, or folks here in the chat too. Every time that you get a letter in the mail, a utility bill, a credit card bill, a statement from a bank or whatever, why is your name always in capital letters?
Oh, I love this.
But the offer, how does the offer come to you? For a magazine?
Why is it always in capital letters?
That's your straw
Whenever
man.
you see that, it's a contract.
But you get an offer sent to you before you take that contract. It's in upper and lowercase.
Mm-hmm.
You will never find that deviated from. And know the difference between the Postal Service and the Post Office.
Mm-hmm.
Know what the UPU is. Know where it originated. Vatican. And then you have to start dialing in how they were all tied together historically and up to the present. Very daunting task. I don't blame the average person here or anywhere for not knowing this stuff. But that's why they can put you in cuffs and haul you in, because you've engaged in but they don't go over that contract and say, well, according to the IRS adhesion contract of 1998, let me see here. Yeah, you agreed to this. But you're going to go in saying, I, me. You're going to handle it as if you're handling it personally. And really, when you go into court, unless you've committed a capital crime, it's nothing personal. But most people don't get that. To them, it's very personal because they're not used to it. It's intimidating. Think about what I'm about to tell you. The granite walls, the well you walk into when you walk past the bar, which is that little fence or border between you and the gallery. And the gallery is the public. Anyone can wander in and witness. How many wander in to witness the study? The question why the judge left the seat 3 times. First time had to blow their nose. Second time had a piece of paper relevant to the case they forgot, resetting the trial. Third time they had to douche their nasal cavities. I swear to God, that's a real excuse I saw used one day for a judge. But each time they do that, they can do it 3 times. They've reset the trial, meaning everything you've worked so hard to get to that they saw intimidating, or they wanted to keep you from crashing and burning, they went out and reset the trial. You didn't know that. So nothing you said prior to that would be held against you, but you're still on that same stake. So it's a huge process to be educated in all of this. And again, that's what lends it to it's fraudulent. It is a constructive fraud, but a fraud nonetheless.
If you want to take it a step further and go down another rabbit hole, what's the true meaning of zip codes? Why do you have them? And then another one is, what is the actual distance between each fire hydrant? Look at that too.
Oh, yeah.
There's a reason for that. But yes. I'll let Ghost explain that one if you want to. I don't know, whatever. Hey, we've all, trust me, we've done the homework on this shit.
If you have fire hydrant within so many feet of your house, however many feet the beginning of your property line is, that's your real address. But the box you put out front, you're saying, okay, I'm giving you jurisdiction to this. Again, do all personal business and business through a post office box. Watch there be a run on post office boxes now, which is good because they have to put more. But one side of that post office where those boxes are, welcome to the Postal Service. And the postal workers don't even know this, what I'm telling you. When you go into that office, when you're buying a stamp, you're not paying for the weight of a letter, though it is tied to that. You're paying an artist residual for the stamp.
Wow.
Welcome to postoffice.com, not .gov.
So really quick, I'll stay on this subject for a little bit, just for one more little piece of the thing here. But in that presentation, this gentleman here had made war castles, and I believe David Wynn-Miller also. They discussed the importance of the post offices themselves. And I don't remember which one I had in here for the link, but I'll pull it up again. So essentially, they were saying that that whoever controlled the post office essentially was controlling, maybe the country or something like that. I don't know exactly if I'm getting this stuff right.
Universal Postal Union. The origin of all that came from the Roman road system. Those road systems were used first and foremost for the movement of troops and administrators, information second, local and long distance commerce third. So you had the outpost. And your outpost declared the jurisdiction of the Roman Empire within the borders of wherever it was, whether it was Hadrian's Wall or whether it was trying to encourage further upon the Teutonic tribes at the time, what they call, obviously they're going to call them this, the barbarians, because they had yet to be domesticated, important word, under the Roman system of law. Most of that never died. Rome only morphed. And it became the embodiment of a body of ideas that were given to humanity through Christ. So they couldn't overcome that with the phalanx and the centurion leading the legion. You could kill them all day long, but you couldn't kill them because they go underground and then they resurface, just like you do, Rome. And then so you then become, and Constantine says, I am Christian. Wonderful. But they did that to quell the unrest that Christians, true Christians, were pointing out then. And this is Christianity prior to the Roman Empire, to Roman Catholicism, which means prior to 1,500 years, at least prior to people like Martin Luther. And now the 33,000 denominations of that they all have, and they all argue amongst each other and point to Catholicism. And okay, all well and good, but that's what you came from. Why don't you try understanding that? Not the religion, but what created that religion and why, as opposed to the original texts now being translated more and more every day into modern English from Aramaic and ancient Hebrew. Gives you a whole different, and not to mention the apocryphals, what men decided that they could decide for all mankind, for then and future. Then it was political expediency. Now it's just tradition and they also know what's in them, that if properly translated from, which is being done now, from the Ethiopian texts that have been remained pure as any text on the planet from the beginning. You get through, then you'll want to read things like Enoch and others' interpretations of it, like Hertog's The Keys to Enoch. All that we've talked about in this show all comes from all of this. So I hope that helps.
It does. I'll leave it at this one here. I just thought it was an interesting coinky-dink that President Trump happened to take a lease at the original old post office in D.C. 60-year lease. Then he made it into a hotel, put $200 million into it, and I think he sold it off or leased it off to somebody else as well. But didn't know if that had anything to do with it.
The question is, who owns the original piece of land? That's a completely separate jurisdiction. If it is still within a certain group of who owns it?
It said the federal government leased it to him for 60 years.
Mm-hmm. And I always had that question back then, was it a lease or a purchase? I imagined it was a lease. Well, they're in the District of Columbia, are they not? And they're acting on, let's say, a request from the owners of that land, which they'll hold it and they'll say they'll have it. But again, that's a corporate federal government, not the original organic federal government. They're not answering to, but in league with Rome.
Absolutely. Mike's sending a couple of things. I actually think I have a link on one of these, Mike. Let me see. I might have it up here still. Yeah, I got something right here. Actually, it's a coinky-dink. It's actually exactly what you sent me. Just the images of it anyway. But this is current. So basically, what do we got? This is from today, from 3 p.m. essentially. Breaking: Judicial Watch files federal lawsuit against multiple government agencies. So Judicial Watch is suing the FBI, CIA, Defense, or the DIA, ODNI, and ICE after they failed to provide Havana Syndrome records under the Freedom of Information Act. Judicial Watch filed multiple FOIAs after our independent investigations revealed brain injuries suffered by U.S. spies, diplomats, military operatives, and civilians are progressive and can lead to brain cell death and atrophy. In February, we also confirmed a report by DNI Gabbard's investigative team DIG, or Directors Initiative Group into Directed Energy Attacks, or AHISs, Anomalous Health Incidents, was finalized and prepped for release. It is still not public. Lawsuit also seeks information about a directed energy weapon reportedly acquired by the U.S. government. Quote, this complaint further includes a FOIA request submitted to U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement seeking records regarding the alleged acquisition and testing of a directed energy or pulse energy device reportedly obtained through Homeland Security investigations and studied for potential relevance to Havana syndrome symptoms. Fitton said federal agencies have stonewalled basic transparency on Havana syndrome for years. The American people and dedicated public servants affected deserve answers about what happened, what the government knew, and when it knew it. And so, guys, the only thing I'll say about this, the Havana syndrome, to me, sounds very eerily similar to the discombobulator technology Trump used against the Cuban folks there in Venezuela.
It should be called, for PR purposes, they call it Havana syndrome, not Moscow syndrome. That's where it came out of, where it was first used. Yeah.
Some energy waves. So, I mean, we know they have things that we see them for,
we
like...
we didn't create it. They did. And they even spent $15 million purchasing a unit from a Russian mob group of some type. And
oh, my God.
Sounds like it was a lot easier than trying to imaginarily back engineer it.
Wow, that is pretty that's pretty crazy that they would do this. But we know they have like crowd dispersal things, right, where they point an energy thing at it and they can make either you start hearing really high pitched sounds, or they can make your body start feeling like it's cooking, right? It's actually hitting.
Yeah, neither one of those post damage.
Eesh, well,
unless you're right in front of it.
Unless you stay there. Yeah, and you're
ears ringing, nosebleeds, eye bleeds, vomiting, nausea. Can't move your arms or your legs, your muscles, and you just freaking flop down like a jellyfish.
Really?
And the other one's a microwave beam that's using a frequency that only penetrates. It's less than 1.5 millimeters. But it resonates with the heat and pain receptors of your nervous system.
Yeah.
Let's see, May 20th, that's tomorrow.
It feels like you're on fire, but you're not. And the feeling is so unpleasant, you get the hell out of the way. Doesn't matter how tough you are.
Eesh. Yeah, and I've seen people, they get hit with it and they just jump to the side like, nope, not going to be dealing with that for sure. And you definitely don't want to be stuck in front of it for sure.
No.
Mike, you also dropped a, it says a video from the attack. I think it was you that dropped this one, but attack on the mosque. And I didn't see anything that looked gory in here. And thankfully I don't want to show that to folks, but
yeah.
What do you guys make of the, because I know you guys, do training and stuff, and I'm sure you guys maybe watch back training, but these guys look like they're moving too fast, too slow, just right, or let's see. No sound on it anyway. And so supposedly it was 2 teens, right? Like 17 and 18-year-old or something like that?
Yeah, the high schooler, one male, one transgender, male, female. Yeah.
What is he carrying? A Mini 30?
Like a shotgun.
One of them?
No, it's
AR?
Looks like a Mini 30.
That's not an AR.
That's not
That's
AR.
a top breach. That's a top breach. That's a Mini 30.
He's got a bunch of Nazi stuff on him.
Oh, he's got writing on it, just like the
Yeah.
guy from.
That's a Mini 30.
Yeah, that's a 30.
He's got the swastika on the rifle.
What's the
they had swastikas. They had swastikas also on their gas cans that they found in the vehicle.
Oh,
they had SS on the gas can.
SS, yeah.
But that's a Ruger Mini 30. Anybody can buy it. It's a great rifle. Not for that. Well, that if that's your job, but that's not his. He's a little fuckwad here.
Mini 30? Is that what you call them?
Yeah, that's a 30. That's a 30 caliber rifle.
Ruger Mini 30.
Oh,
It's a
semi-automatic rifle.
5.56 that fires out of the third, and it's a Ruger. It's a Mini 30.
You
There
should
was
probably
Mini
move
15.
the frame because it says a word right
Oh yeah,
there.
yeah. I was trying to read that word. I'm like, was that word the word I thought it was? And I went, and then I promised I wasn't trying to keep it on the screen because I was actually going away and looking at this to see what it was. Ruger Mini 30.
There was two. I think the Mini 30 is an older version. They only did for a year or two. That fires
Look to the one on the right.
7.62
that
by
one right there.
39.
Yep.
The other one fires the 2.23.
That's what he's got, or it's got.
That's what it's got. Do we get anything?
Well, apparently, supposedly he took it from mom's house.
Oh God.
Has mom's weapons. His mom's weapons.
Isn't that one of
These are
those
some
Ukrainian
twisted
patches?
lads. That looks like a Black Sun patch.
Yeah.
And what I was thinking of was New Zealand.
It's I think it's one of those Viking. Is it? I think it is a sun patch. Yeah,
Black Sun.
We can get any more of it.
Is somebody signing this, putting a little signature on this thing? I don't know.
Ukrainians?
No. They would have taken that, and that would have told you that maybe certain. Let's say, I'm just going to say that very quickly that the Black Sun is involved.
It's the Black Sun patch. It's hold on, it's affiliated. It's okay, Black Sun patch. I just wanted it to be correct.
Not to be confused with Black Hole Sun.
No, that's a great
song. Well, this is what I was saying. It reminded me of, guys. Remember the Christchurch shooting? Look at the white writing on the dark guns. It's like the same MO, same friggin' playbook.
I guess they went to the same training camp.
So the Black Sun patch is a highly controversial symbol utilized by modern neo-Nazis, white supremacists, and far-right extremist groups. It is often used as an alternative to the swastika to signal allegiance to National Socialism and esoteric Nazi mysticism while attempting to bypass mainstream scrutiny.
Oh God! Look at the website. What others viewed? Oh, you can get a great Hitler button with my Black Sun patch.
Oh God!
It's like a one-shop Nazi one-stop shop. What the frick? Are you kidding me? But that is it right there. It was this one here, for sure. But yeah, it's unfortunately par for the course. We're seeing a lot of this stuff lately, and always within the mix, we happen to have, as they mentioned, one of the thems in there. You know what I mean? One of the theys, thems. Let me just. Okay, bud.
I just said it's.
it's. Oh, it's them. Let me see. Super.
It's one of them. It's.
The question I have to ask for this investigation is they found both of them in the car, committed suicide.
Oh, really?
Both of them in the car. Yeah. And, that always leads me down a road to where I've, seen it in the past to where you have people go do something and then you clean house and, then you leave the people there. So it makes me wonder if there was a third person that was there and that third person finished them off in a car and took off.
That would be my guess that they cleaned them up. You know what I mean? Like if they were pushed to do it,
right.
and like we've seen, and thankfully we haven't seen this in a few years that I can tell. Maybe the Gritch and Whitmer and some of the J6 stuff, but historically we'd heard numerous times in the past, like, oh my God, the FBI just stopped this explosion. Like these guys were going to blow off this bomb, and then later on we get more of the information. It's like, oh, well, they were actually given the bomb by these guys and they end up stopping it at the last minute. So we were seeing that, 5, 7, 8 years and beyond going back, but I've not seen that, recently. But yeah, this to me rings of, you cleaning up any connection to anybody outside, because as we know, Dead its don't tell no tales. I think it's supposed to be dead men, though, right? Something along those lines. But dead its works for this case. So what do you guys say about Iran? You guys got anything juicy on Iran or Mr. Armando over in Cubano? I also have other links we could go through. And actually, you know what? Let me show you guys this one really quick. You know, when you get older, you know, like say around, I don't know, 70, most people, you know, would you upgrade your house, like get a bigger house, or you get like a smaller house? I would think generally when you get older, you probably get yourself a smaller house, you know, because maybe your empty nest is no longer, doesn't have a bunch of kids in there. They all went off to college and blah, 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 blah. Now you're 70. Of course, you don't have teenagers or school kids there. So I say all that to say this. Paul Sperry saying, Beltway rumors circulating that 71-year-old Chief Justice John Roberts last month, quote, upsized to a massive new home with almost 7,000 square feet and an elevator, valued at more than $5 million in a tiny neighborhood of Chevy Chase, Maryland.
Well, you got to hide the money somewhere.
Real estate's a good way to park some dough, right? That's for sure.
Inside the basement walls.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, so shady. And so, you know, what are the, I don't even know what a Supreme Court justice makes. Do they make less or more than, say, a congressman or a senator? It should be more. Let's see.
The average salary for a representative or especially a senator is $200,000 a year. Average salary. Okay. You know, you go 4 or 5 years deep, their net worth is a couple million, 3, 4 million. How are they making that money? Insider trading? Not necessarily. NGOs? More than likely. Right? More than likely.
Oh, that's
I saw
actually
Burchett make a comment that he said somebody was talking to him about insider trading, and he said, well, if you had a list, and they mentioned Nancy Pelosi, and he said, well, if you had a list of 1 to 10 and asked where she fit on that list, he said she's number 11.
Oh, damn.
Mm-hmm.
Really? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, this is actually, you know, it should be more, I think. I think the Supreme Court justices should be making more than a congressman or a senator, but it says associate justices, $306,600, when the chief justice earns about $14,000 more at $320K. So, I mean, you could float a $5 million house on a $300,000 salary, I think. You know, not that I would ever make anything close to that.
Well, yeah, and you got to factor in all the kickbacks.
Yep. So, you know, what was old Justice Roberts up to? You know, has he been taking pay for play for years? You know, who is gonna come out as good and bad at the end of this? Because, guys, you know, it's seeming to come to the focus, and I could end up being wrong about this, but we were told by the team to trust a few people, and one of them was Ray. And then through all of this, you know, through every time he testified, it was like, oh, can't talk about ongoing investigation. So that was pretty much his whole shtick the whole way through, right? Can't talk ongoing investigations, can't talk ongoing investigations. But then who would have enough clout and power to put all of that information aside into these, quote, burn boxes? Because I highly doubt you would leave your lower tier people to ensure that these things get taken care of. So wouldn't you want to put that, like, all right, I'm leaving it with Ray. He's our guy. So let's just say he's working as a good guy, but the bad guys are still believing they're working with him. Well, of course, I'll trust Ray. All right, I'm going to go take care of these burn bags or whatever myself personally, so that way we know they're done. But here we are 5 years later, and all sorts of information did come out of those burn bag rooms, which, again, you know, let's just say me and Armando, we're into some bad stuff, and then Ghost and Mike might find it. Well, here, Armando, here's a bag of this stuff. What are we going to do? Well, we're going to burn it a couple hours from now. Yeah, well, let's bribe them first, see if that works. No? All right, then we got to kill them. But you know, like, if we got this information in a bag, right? It's like me and Armando, we got this information that's going to put us in jail forever. What do you want to do? Let's burn it a couple hours from now? It's like, no, you're going to go do it right away. And so the idea that this stuff was even there 5 years later is absolutely, just crazy to me. And so don't know who's going to find out to be good or bad at the end, but I would lean towards bad on old Justice Roberts.
How it works in the real
current
world.
situation right now is, let's just assume, allegedly, they're all corrupt. The real question should be, who is not corrupt?
Probably Thomas.
And let's look at the percentages of the difference, right? I could probably hold up one hand, maybe 5% not corrupt.
Yeah.
Right
Yeah,
now,
because in the real
because
world,
eventually when
we
the
were-
human condition kicks in, and we all know what the human condition is, which is the infamous dollar sign, every human being has a price on his head. And if you use leverage to make that happen, right? Like, I don't know, I got some dirt on you. I found this video AI created of you having a zing with a staffer or whatever the case may be, or some shady stuff across borders. You know, you can basically make stuff up, man. But, you know, the problem is we have a problem. We got a corruption problem here. Everybody knows about it. Everybody sees it. It's now, right? The dust is settled and, you know, the ashes are rising to the top in a bucket of water. Well, who are those ashes that are rising to the top? People are going to find out very soon, and you're going to be shocked at some of the names that are going to be floating to the top. I mean, look at Massey, right? Who would have thought? Well, there you go. There's one example.
Mr. Ghost, anything on that one, sir?
No, I was just going to say very simply, if you guys were running a scam and we were after you, you'd have to make an offer or shoot us or something else in between, one or the other. Because in the real world, if we were bad guys too and we got to you, we'd take all your shit anyway.
Yeah,
And that's how it works.
I'm trying to look for this. I'm trying to look for one of the posts that was in the drops because it said something along the lines of what Armando just said. Cross-reference blue areas with illegal immigration, high prop zones. You might be shocked with what you discover. No, it basically says it said something along the lines of I'm paraphrasing this completely, but it said essentially, you'll be amazed to find out who really has some of the power out there or who's really in charge of some of these people. So basically made it sound like we wouldn't have a clue that some of these people would have been in charge, but they are. Let me see. Their only defense is to play dumb, shocked, and surprised to avoid collusion claims. You will be. I don't know. I'll look that up later on. But we got any movement going around in Cuba lately, Armando? Anything in the last few days there? And then we'll see anything in Iran after that.
They're out of fuel, they're out of water, they're out of food, they're out of medications. The protests have intensified. Their intelligence headquarters, they just set it ablaze a couple days ago. The protests continue. Tomorrow is Independence Day. Who knows if anything's going to happen? Don't know. Our good old military is flying all kinds of surveillance. You can go to Looking Glass and just look at it all over the place. It's just everywhere right now. There is no deal. They offered them $100 million in humanitarian aid. They said, nope, we're not taking anything.
Wow.
We don't want charity. Forget it, right? Because they know it's not going to make it to the hands of the people. The regime is going to take it, and the people are not going to get squat, right? But it's getting to the boiling point already where something's going to give. Something's going to give. And I don't know. It may turn into a situation where the public is going to grab pitchforks, machetes, bricks, rocks, whatever, and go up against the armed military. They're at that point. They're at that point right now. So my gut is telling me that our administration right now and those that are in the know, the real know, are waiting for that boiling point to happen. And then they're going to say it's go time. And go time could happen in the next minute. It could happen in the next hour, the next day, the next week, the next month. We just don't know. And rightfully so. We're not going to have access to that kind of information because you will compromise people's lives, mission, and everything else. And you will notify the enemy. So you don't want any of that, right? So we're just waiting. We're in a holding pattern right now. We're just waiting. But that the situation is dire, that it's really dire, it is beyond dire. It's chaotic.
I'm surprised they wouldn't accept any help because obviously they don't want to be under the thumb, right? Essentially.
Well, they're not going to let him stay, right? They're not going to let him stay. And if they take that $100 million, they're going to want to track it and see where that money's going to. And it's not going to go to the public. It's going to go in their coffers. And then they're going to either wire it out of the country like they've done already before. Okay. And that's all there is to it. They're not stupid. They're going to say, no, we don't want it. We're going to fight to the death, whatever.
We'd send that money over. We would paste that money with residue or some other type of, transmittable stuff we can trace it with.
Exactly.
Wow. Oh, that's bananas.
As far as Iran, it's going into a very critical phase. And that phase is basically you're trying to get the IRGC to say, okay, we've had enough. And it can go one of two ways. They'll either come to their senses and say, we've had enough. I think that's what a little bit of the China meetings were about.
Well, I think
now Putin is meeting with Xi as we speak. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Mike.
Yeah, Ghost. Didn't they just take out the son of the father? That was the leader. I
think so.
Yeah,
I haven't looked at anything in the past 2 days, but the alternative is possibly going down a path where we're going to put a base in friendly territory, meaning one of the Quds regions, which would be in the southwest of the country, and then in the Kurdish region in the northwest of the country, and then train up more and more of the population. And as the IRGC come out of their mountain hidey holes and try to fight them, then destroy them with air power. That's a little bit more of a projected engagement. It comes down to how long can they hold out? Or is anybody going to rise up and say, okay, enough is enough, you friggin' martyrs, let's stop this shit. We're all going to die. Well, we're supposed to die for Allah. Well, why don't you go in the back room and blow your brains out, and we'll then, make a deal for clemency. That's basically where it is right now.
So Doc just dropped something here, which I forgot to mention. Sorry about that. It's not a very high likelihood. It's from what I've been told, it's already a done deal. Trump tapped Jorge Mascanosa Jr. is the man chosen by Trump and Rubio to lead the transition and reconstruction of Cuba. Experienced businessman, billionaire, and extensive connections to capitalist funds, ready to invest and rebuild Cuba. So in case you don't know who Jorge Mascanosa, well, senior, I knew senior, not junior, is you've probably seen these white utility trucks all over the country that say Mastec, M-A-S-T-E-C on them. That's who this guy is. That's his son who took over senior's business. And all they focus on and everything that they do is infrastructure, plumbing, electrical, comms, everything, underground, up top, you name it. Like I said, I hope Junior is not like Dad. Dad's got a very shady history. I hope he doesn't follow that same path. We'll see. And then you're going to have
look at the self-interest that he's going to want to preserve himself and his family and their wealth. So he's probably playing along.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he is. Just like the Diaz-Balarts, which are directly connected to Castro, also at Cangrejo. Raul Castro's grandson. They all have lineage. They're all connected, one way, shape, or form. They currently serve in our administration right now, especially down in Florida. Okay. Then you have the Estefans, Gloria and Emilio Estefan, the entertainers that are also known socialists. Okay. They get down there too. They're going to take over that racket. But we'll see, right? Then you got the Sugar King, which is another one who's inside Trump's circle, all right, who is by lineage of family. They ran the entire sugar business under Batista and the United States because they were all tied together. Those are going to be your movers and your shakers down there. Again, but the question that I have is no one's talking about statehood. And they're not going to mention it right now until the 11th hour, obviously. They've already floated it for Venezuela, but again, that has stalled. The question that I have outside of Cuba, going back to Iran, that little country over there in the Middle East, they've been really quiet lately, like quiet. I wonder what's going on with that. I don't know.
Very interesting. Well, what do you guys think about President Trump yesterday talking about how we're going to be removing 5,000 folks from 5,000 soldiers from Germany, and then he also said that essentially it's going to be a lot more than that. I mean, I'm all for, not being the policeman of everybody, but I also understand we need bases. But do we need to be on every one of these bases? And obviously we know it's because they keep, fighting back and forth. So I'll pop this one up here really quick. It's 20 seconds here really quick. Go to where he talks.
We're going to cut way down, and we're cutting a lot further than 5,000. Thank you very much.
So he's basically saying that they're going to be cutting more than 5,000 people, keeping our troops, or removing our troops from Germany. You guys got any thoughts on that one?
Yeah, it's a middle finger for NATO and the UN.
Yeah.
And why have forces where you probably are never going to have to use them, providing a service or a function for that country that they should be providing for themselves? And they have more than the technology and more than the manpower to do it. They just don't want to spend the money.
Yeah.
Well, in
And
addition,
no more money going to the UN either, right? Let them fend for themselves. Screw it.
additionally, on top of that, with the recruitment process going on right now for the Army, I believe it's around between 15-20% in the negative. The Marines is I think around 20% negative. The Navy's a little more. Air Force is a little more. And the Marines, if I read it correctly on the bulletin, they increased their enlistment age up to the age of 42.
That's correct.
Yeah. And so there's kind of, I would imagine, with moving all the troops around, battalions, divisions, brigades, you're gonna have to do a rebalance. But yeah, I do agree with what Armando is saying. Buzz was saying is, the Europeans, they gotta handle stuff. There's, we're not the policemen of the world. We're not going to do it anymore.
The globalists wanted us to be.
Yeah, they want. Yeah, but it's not our job anymore, and we're not going to do it.
It's not our job.
No,
it was never really our job. Nobody asked us.
No. And
we would have said, hell no.
So you may ask yourself, so where are all these troops going to go to? Let's forget 5,000, a lot more than that. Let's just say all of Europe.
40,000.
And let's just say tens of thousands. Okay, let's just go with that number. Screw it. Where are they going to go? What are they going to do? In my opinion, I believe that they're going to, set up post camps, maybe some new bases. Where? The Western Hemisphere. We're going to protect the Western Hemisphere because that's what this is going to boil down to.
Right. And so with
Europe in their corner, keep Asia in their corner. You guys mind your own business. No more Middle East. You figure it out. We're done with UN. We're done with NATO. We're done with all that money trail to support
and that foreign entanglements, and that all on behalf of another agenda that's now dead.
And so from what I know, about a little more than a year ago, there was a restructuring of Indo-Pacific Command. And it was to build up of Indo-Pacific Command of all the West Coast. And also a restructure of East and Southwest. But we're undergoing a restructure of Indo-Pacific Command right now.
Because we have to have that for one major reason. In China and Russia, there's one thing that affects them more dramatically than it does here, even though it's very dramatic when it happens anywhere, and that's when a leader simply dies. And Putin's been there quite a while. Xi is a little more robust, it seems, but on the off chance that the opposition does assassinate Xi, or Putin does die of whatever, you have to be ready for what comes in behind it. They may be something radical you were more than aware of, but weren't expecting them to.
I'll throw another tidbit in here too. Think out a little further. Think with Trump's brain, okay? Fifth dimensional chess. If and when we do absorb the provinces up in Canada, their military is shit. It's garbage, right? Well, you're going to want to have U.S. Presence there or leverage in Canada, that sector. You're going to want it also in Greenland. You're going to want it in Central and South America. I'm telling you, this is a move towards solidifying and establishing and bringing upright the Western Hemisphere, all of it. Okay, that's it.
Yeah, and these are all good power moves too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But he's
And
doing what
securing
Susie Wiles
securing
wants.
us. Yeah.
Yeah.
If it were only that simple, I would. It's not, and it's not. And the things that they're dealing with are very, very complex. Everything from Israel to Iran and other countries, we have to reevaluate our relationship with that country. But I realize there's so much, let's say, sentiment in certain ways attached to it, and it has to be done carefully and properly. But as they do business different than anyone else. They have businessmen all over the world. Traditionally, they work with Mossad all the time. That's your money and your brains. And it's been effective for them, very. But we should only tolerate what is in our interest. End of statement.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
and I think we're heading in that direction. Armando, go ahead, buddy. You got something?
Somebody dropped here in the comment, and it's a good point. Ben Lowe puts on there, says, our boys ain't coming home from Korea or Taiwan or Japan. This is a Germany issue. It's more than a Germany issue. And yeah, I do agree with you that I feel that as far as Asia is concerned, we're still going to have some sort of a presence there strategically, especially around Diego Garcia, areas like that, off of Japan, until that mess gets cleaned up. And after that, we may see a transition, right? We may see a transition. We'll see. We don't know yet. But Canada definitely, yeah, it's a good, let's get out of Europe, the European arena, and let's just bring it back home and take care of our house while we continue the cleanup here, right? I mean, I don't know. We'll see.
Time to clean up your own backyard.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah, I mean, and there's so many indications too that people are just kind of, in my opinion, they're using the low hanging fruit to just say, whatever. And again, they got a lot of people that are good people that are just seeing so much of it. So when you see something repeated over and over, you start to take it as fact, of course. But that's it's a very huge operation. You're talking to a guy here that, in April, May of 2018, I was going, why the frig are there not arrests already? This is ridiculous. And I'm like, yeah, I thought I had a pretty good grasp on how bad and out of control things were back then. But yeah, I probably had about a 2% inkling of what was really going on. And it's this total, I would say all of government, but essentially it's like all of world, other than maybe China and Russia, to get President Trump out of there and to get their business as usual. I put that clip of Frenchie there, Macron, up there for a reason on X, where he says they are dead against Europe. You got a president of Russia, a president of the United States, and a president of China that are dead against Europe. So again, certain people are seeing some of these things. When you take a look around and you actually dig into some of the things, you can actually find that they are doing what we want here. And I'm going to do some reading later on and definitely dig into that national defense. I don't know I forgot what even the name of it was, the charter, or where they were setting things in the future later, because even those first two paragraphs were juicy, were very juicy. So I definitely enjoyed those.
National defense strategy.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so and kind of to think about it, if President Trump ever were to declare emergency powers or the declaration, right, it would be very useful to have those 10,000 troops to come back to the United States, come back to CONUS, and use them here as to be utilized. Because if you just have the National Guard for each state, the different, all of your National Guards through each states, you're not going to have as many soldiers or Army reservists, Marine reservists, or any of the reservist capacity. They have quite a bit. But if you bring that 5 or 10,000 amount of soldiers, Marines, the armed services, you'll be able to utilize those guys with the other, incumbents, and you'll be able to bolster up a larger force to do whatever you need to do here in CONUS, here in the homeland. So on a 5D chessboard, that also, it's just a caveat, it's just an idea, but it would work as, as an enhancer.
Yeah, makes total sense.
And let's not leave out the Ebola boogeyman. Holy shit. I mean, really.
Ebola now?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's pathogen du jour.
Pathogen du jour. Well, Ghost, last show you were scaring people.
Well, because they're playing these games again. Now, one of two things happen. They're either banking on the incubation period of one and then doing a little fear porn and, keep your eye off the ball, but don't with the other, or they got on top of that really bad op to pull that again in a better way than was able to be seen. Because right now there's a variant of Ebola acting up in Congo and a few of the surrounding countries, and they're doing things there that most Americans would freak out and their butts would pucker and, well, what's going on? We can't go to the World Cup. We can't do this. We can't have 4th of July. The equivalent is happening in these countries, but they're used to it, and they're smaller, and it's easier for them to implement them. They've sealed borders. You only necessary and authorized in or out. They've canceled holidays, they're taking all the medical precautions and quarantining individuals. And it's just another day in a sense for them, but not here. And the chance is still there that something will be released, but I don't give it a very high probability with how this was handled. So there's still a little period to keep an eye on that stuff and watch it. But the reason I say all this is because, again, it's the same cast of characters when you get to that near the top of that pyramid who had their hands in on this.
Too many.
Same basic premise as COVID. Different locations, different disease, different day.
Yeah, it's the same original players from the previous round too. And I kind of do agree with you. Or, I think somewhere in our, with an organization or an agency, on the health side, I think they did. I kind of have that gut feeling they got in front of it. And but now you see, a bunch of new things popping off, and watching the World Health Organization, Tedros, he's talking about all this crazy stuff. You need to lock down all the countries, just a bunch of nonsense that doesn't need to be happening. But while he's talking about all of this, publicly with with the WHO. Now we're, we a couple days ago, now we see a breakout of a new type of Ebola that has never been seen before. And the treatments for it are very limited. And so it's just, it's kind of, it's kind of odd in that conjecture.
But ironically, Moderna had a vaccine for this new strain since 2019.
Surprise, surprise.
So yeah, surprise, surprise.
There you go.
Coinky dink, huh? And and as we mentioned, the Hanta is a word for fake, BS, scam, this, that, and the other. So I think they were trying to
Gene
tell us.
Hackman and his wife, supposedly they came back from vacation in Mexico, already infected with it, and then they died in their house.
Nobody found them for weeks. Nobody found them for like weeks. Yeah, Hanta, distinct meanings depending on the linguistic and cultural context. In Hebrew slang, it's often cited as meaning scam. Oh, but dictionaries actually define as relating to ripening of fruit or to embalm. Okay. Genus of virus. But you also talked about, too, and maybe this is what some of the confusion was about, Armando, was that other, what was the other one, the fever that the people actually died of? They had
Andes fever.
The Andes fever. So those people actually had Andes fever. Now, they were mixed in with the people with the hantavirus also, right? That was the same cruise?
Well, from what I've found and what I've read and what I've been told by medical folks is this is a triple cocktail. You have what is it? COVID in there. You've got the rat shit stuff in there. You've got Andes in there, and now
measles on top of
also as well. Measles is mixed in this cocktail, also as well. It's a triple tickle, man, is what it is basically, And then again, don't leave the new Ebola strain out of the mix. Don't leave that out. Okay. I still say, and we're going to find out here on the, what's the date? June 11th, okay? If FIFA does come in here, and I think they would because there's a lot of money on the table about that, even though Trump already has floated that they're not going to allow any flights in or out from those African countries, you still have everything else to deal with. Andes fever, right? Hardcore FIFA soccer fans, they travel wherever their team goes, all around the world. These people have money, okay? They can afford to do that, but they planned this out way ahead of schedule. Here, where I reside, okay, they're looking in upwards of 200,000 because they're going to be here from June 15th, our opener, from June 15th to July 15th. And ironically, where's my tinfoil hat? Shit, never mind. It's over there in the corner. Ironically, the very first match that we're going to host here, okay, is none other than Spain versus who? Cape Verde, where the cruise ship landed and departed all the people. Now, Portugal, okay, Cape Verde, Canary Islands, they got a pretty good squad. Those people are going to be here. Oh, let's see what happens next. I don't know. Again, we can't disown this. We can't say, whatever. No, just be aware.
It's something to be very aware.
Yeah.
And especially
we're not out of the woods yet, guys. We're not.
And with COVID, when we stopped all the airports, out of China, what people did, and this is what people will more than likely do again as well, is they will lily pad to other countries to where they're approved to fly from that country to here to the U.S. So let's say from Nigeria or Uganda, they go to Morocco. And Morocco is an approved country. It's a safe country for them to travel to the U.S. And so what you see these planes doing and these people doing that have all this money and private charter jets or just regular air travel is they backpedal to these other countries where they know they can fly out of. So they'll drive to that country. They hitch a ride to it. They get to the airport, and then they'll fly from that safe, given the green okay, the go signal, and then they'll travel here to to the destination here in Conus. And so that's something that I worry about, because I've seen it happen, a lot, especially during COVID. When they said these countries were on lockdown, what these people always did was, they would back channel through other countries and go through an approved country and then get here to the U.S. And by doing that, they're infecting other people, other other people, unfortunately. So that is a concern.
Yep. Very good point. Very good point.
And they could do that, very easily, right? Like, pull some people over from another country, especially if they got money, just mix around the flights, pop in over here.
All you got to do is private charter flights too. Remember that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, people fly.
Yeah.
You don't have to go through the check-in, check-out, customs, this, that, and the other. And again, guys and gals that are listening out there, we give you guys this information not to like scare you or anything, but to be aware in that, because what Armando's talking about, if that plan were to come to fruition, could be a very bad thing, right? If they happen to seed some of these people that are going to a very busy and very populous, sporting event there, and then you're having people coming in from bad countries or whatever, it could lead to a bad thing. So having the information versus not having it, I think, is key. What you choose to do with that, obviously we're not trying to scare anybody. Just be aware of your surroundings and watch the people around you as well. And, obviously we do know colds can be passed maybe even before people look like they're sick. So just, maybe just stay away from everybody. For the rest of your life, just keep away from everybody. Bubble boy, is that too much to ask, guys?
No, and like you're saying, it's better to have the knowledge and know about it, than being caught off guard and not having it. So
because you'll get that. Yeah, and you'll be the first in line when the toilet paper starts flying off the shelves.
Yeah.
And I mean that in a funny way, but also a very truthful way.
Yep.
We saw the worst in some of the people out there, and it continues.
Not even just toilet paper. Stock up on sanitary napkins. Tampons, not tampons, but Kotexes. They serve a good purpose, not just for the women, but also for the guys. Right? Battle dressing, man. You get shot. That's a good way to prevent it. From bleeding out. Use those things. Well, then again, I'm sorry. Going down a different rabbit hole, but you guys get the drift. If you know, you know.
It is compacted cotton, so that's what they use for field dressings, right? Stuff it in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Stock up on that.
Okay. All right, guys. Is there anything else we need to make sure that we touched on, guys? Because I never really set an end time for the show, so we can do
one
whatever.
thing is,
we didn't talk about farting horses.
Yeah.
All right, that's out of the way.
Never
Mike,
mind.
you had something, Mike?
Yeah, no, it's just kind of odd. Here in California, we have, I think it's like close to 5 fires going right now.
Oh yeah.
With
what's up with that?
with the mayor, with the mayors, the new mayors for Los Angeles. You have Karen Bass, Spencer Pratt, and I forget the other female's name. And it looks like Spencer's doing very well. And ironically, I hate to say this, there's wildfires that are fairly large going on in this, similar surrounding areas, while they're voting in a new mayor. And it's just kind of odd. It's pragmatic, and I hope it's nothing to do with between Spencer Pratt and Karen Bass, but it's just odd.
Wow.
It is isn't it? Hey, I just dropped in the chat in this thing what Armando was referring to.
Okay.
But and when you listen to it, it's hard. You almost hear it almost sounds like a congressman making a comment.
Wait, hold on. Oh, there we
It's
go.
actually really funny. We gotta,
This is what we really do all day
add some
before
humor.
we come
Here you go.
on there.
Here you go.
Yeah, this is what we really do all day before we come on.
Wait,
Yeah.
where the hell is the button? Where the hell is the is this a YouTube short? It is. Where the hell is the okay, there it is. All right, it's going. Okay, it's gonna have to start over apparently. That was weird. It didn't even have the buttons for it on there.
Coming, Charlie?
right after dinner.
You're free.
Oh my word. But we always have to add some funnies into the show. Is that bad, huh?
Ooh, hey, watch where you kick.
He's like, ooh, that was a bad one.
Watch this.
Oh, God. What happened? Oh. Oh.
There's some funny ones coming up.
Oh, my. You just sneeze and then fart?
A snark.
Oh, my word.
Watch this.
Oh, my word. That's a load of hot air. So majestic.
Wait, isn't that Massey? Come on. Yeah.
Oh, no.
This Small Wells video.
Oh my word. And that was it. Well, guys, there is some news, and thank you. And actually, really quickly, before I do this, I don't want to forget, because
you all are 10-year-old boys.
you're going to love this.
Sorry.
There's always a 10-year-old boy inside of us.
Yep. Oh, God. Yeah. Fart noises, burp noises, anything.
You get rid of the 10-year-old boy, you're old and dead.
Yeah, you're dead after that. So
you gotta keep that childlike spirit going, and you go mad with all this crap.
I can find humor in anything. Yeah, that was some serious crop dusting. So I remembered they are called Super Chats. MacGyver 4269 dropped $2 ones. He says off work and it's Tequila Tuesday for me. And then dropped that other second one a little bit later, says the tequila's kicking in. Well, we got Patron, we got Cuervo. What are we talking here, buddy? But where did I do? I did want to get into something else here. Oh, I did have some breaking news, and thank you, Debbie, dropped this in the Discord for a little update. Breaking. Rep. Thomas Massey loses his GOP primary in Kentucky to Ed Gallerine. NBC News projects in another victory for President Trump as he targets dissenters in his party. Boom. And so, again, the back and forth about this stuff, with him, but I just can't look at a guy that sits there on an interview and talks about how much he loves his high school wife and we were sweethearts, and then, well, he remarries after a year. Okay, whatever. But then within 2 months, he's definitely at least had sexual encounters with 2 different women, maybe 3. One of them, his congresswoman friend there, allegedly. And then you get Dan Bongino also saying the same thing in the interviews, like, listen, he's not the same guy that you see on TV. When I asked this guy about, you have issues with a certain amount of things that you wanted to discuss or you wanted to bring up, and then while I was in the FBI as the deputy director, he never brought these things in. So he's like, this guy's a total fraud. And so I look at it as back and forth, but I'm taking indications from my personal thing, which is the 30-year thing, especially the way your wife died from this autoimmune thing, was this drawn out deal. And then he's already got the new look. And you guys remember too, I actually put the video out like, who the F is this guy? And I put the Conor McGregor thing in there. I'm like, who is this guy? Because he looks like Massey, but yet he don't look like Massey. But then, could be just trying to re-up his look for the new women out there. But he's gone. Any comments on that one? I saw Armando with the fist bump liking that. But now we don't have to hear about Trump and Massey anymore.
Good riddance, and there's more to come.
Yeah. But again, to your point earlier, which ones are not compromised, and which ones are not taking money, and I think
which ones are not corrupt? That's the question. Who's not? Well, they're all corrupt, but who's not? Right? That's the question. We'll see. Time will tell.
That is the questione for sure, and always is. All right, guys. So anything, Nicoletta Trumpy Bear says that's called essence, and I'm Pretty sure she was talking about the fart video. That's some essence right there for sure. But
Essence of Anus, the new cologne.
Eau de Toilette definitely sounds familiar for sure. But so any other stories that we need to get out of here, gentlemen, before we hit the road ski? I just if you want to scan your memory banks really quick, and then
next week it'll be fun. It will be closer to the release of Mr. Spielberg's new movie on the 12th of June, I think it is. I don't know, June or July. And Tucker Carlson's out there with Joe Rogan already, aliens or demons, et cetera, et cetera. So all of this is going to heat up more.
Nice.
And,
they're spiritual
where it
beings.
goes, yeah, where it goes, we can talk about that next week.
Yeah,
for sure.
Next week there'll be a lot of stuff to bring to the table because I'm telling you, this week is going to reveal a lot of stuff. Just in my opinion, anyway.
I like it. All right, guys. Usually I will do some thank yous at the end here. If you guys got to blast off, you guys got to go. That's fine. Otherwise, I'm going to thank some folks over here on the pilled side of things. You guys, I know you guys, you perverts over here. I say that lovingly, of course. My co-hosts here now. You will appreciate one of the screen names here that I'm going to read in a minute because it's hilarious to me, anyways. And just I'll set the table. The icon is. Let's see if you guys can remember or figure out what it is. A very clever screen name, and the icon for the picture used to be a deer, like a doe or a deer, but it was made out of a pickle. A deer or a doe made out of a pickle. Okay. Bois Blanc, drop the can. Appreciate that. Says, missed the beginning. Oops. Hopefully you have a letter from a letter from the doctor. No, you're good. I'm going to hold this one to the end until anybody puts out a guess there. Lizzie B with the cookie. Thank you for that, Lizzie B. No message on there. And then Lizzie B with another cookie. No message on there. But thank you. And then IKW Cross with the shades. No message on that one. But thank you, sir or ma'am. Matt1776 with the cookie says, how's the website going, Space? Ooh. I wasn't even going to do that, but since he did, I'm going to. Now, my son has been doing it as a project for work, and it's not completely ready to rock and roll, but I just had him do this, and I wasn't with him, guys, so we were able to grab Spaceshot76.com, and so he was playing around with some buttons and stuff, so you guys can go over there, get in contact. You can send me an email. All my show links are down here if you want to donate, help fund the vision. So he did all these, and we're going to update some of the things and the layout, but he's got a program for school that allows him to do this, and I actually reached out to Matt yesterday. I don't know if you're still watching, Matt. This is the reason, because one of these right there, that's Rumble, that's Gab, and that's Pilled, or Foxhole Pilled. The only reason I can see it in the bottom left. So I'd actually reached out to Matt for some icons so we can update these to that. So Spaceshot76.com, made by my 15-year-old boy. So take a look. It's a little project for school. But yes, thank you for that, Matt. I do appreciate it. And then Sean Joe, Space Squad member with the cookie. No message on there, but follows up with yet another cookie in a row. So thank you, and then thank you. And then that same screen name, nobody's even ventured a guess on yet. Gifted a cookie, but I'll thank twice in a row in a second. Sean Joe with another cookie there. Thank you, brother. And then he follows up last but not least with another cookie, and in the middle was One Thunder with the can. So I appreciate that, guys and gals out there. No guesses, huh, guys? A pickle and a deer? Nothing? Okay. Okay, ready? So gifted the cookie, no message, but thank you to Saint Cosmic Dildo. Huh? How you like that one? And again, at the top, Saint Cosmic Dildo dropped a can, so I do appreciate that. And that was, guys, it was the icon. When they first were watching, they were over on D Live, and the icon was a pickle, or excuse me, a deer made out of a pickle. So I love it. And one of my other one that always gets notable mentions is Slick Willie's Willie. That's another dude's name that watches, and I very much enjoy the creative screen names. And again, Space Shot, the reason I use that name is because my mother said that I was her little Space Shot. So I mean, I'm a weirdo, probably, but that's what it was from. That was me always looking at the sky going, Mom, what? There's more to this place. Like, I'm telling you, this is not it. Yeah,
Absolutely.
okay. My little space shot. Okay, buddy. But any parting words out there? And again, the links, if you guys would like to donate to Renee, who is, of course, Doc Mike's wife there, who has been a great nurse and a great, let's just say a great plus, as Mike has been to our country and for our country. And her GoFundMe is in the link in the description box below. And we will absolutely appreciate if you could donate, but if you can't, we will absolutely enjoy your prayers as they do work in numbers. So we do appreciate that. Mr. I guess I'll just, because I'm looking at him, Mr. Armando, any parting words for the crew out here?
No, great to see everybody
show.
here in the chat. Thank you guys for the support and the follows and stuff like that. I really, really appreciate it. And also to you, Spaceshot, for having me on. Apologies, I was like half an hour late, but again,
all good,
the New Delhi commute is hard.
Well, and dude, when's your next show? Is it tomorrow evening as well, or is it Thursday?
No, it's actually Thursday, 7 to 10 p.m. We're going to be talking about an old KGB Russian guy who specialized in propaganda and how that affected the West. So we're going to do a deep dive into that, so that way you guys can learn more about your programming, okay, that we've been programmed with. So 7 to 10 p.m., Truth Table News World. Would appreciate you guys coming to check it out. And glad to be here.
Yes, sir. And also Armando, his links are, and I'm going to drop them in the chat here for you guys again, just so you have them, but they are in the description box of all the videos here. And actually, while I'm clicking on here, thank you, Aaron Pauling. Dropped the $5 Rumble rant. It says, play a good song to close the evening. All right. Now, you don't have to drop another Rumble rant, but drop a song link that you think would be good to play. And I'll take it into consideration, then we'll play it, and then I'll cut it out of YouTube later because Pilled and Rumble won't make me do that. So not a problem to do that. But yeah, drop another comment in there. And then Mr. Doc Mike, sir, any parting words out for the crew before we wrap it up?
Yeah, I just want to say, thank you for your audience. Absolutely amazing to be on your show. It's wonderful to be here, and it's a grace of God, to be here to share all the information that I possibly can, and and I'm more than willing to. And just thank you for all the prayers, support, and everything for my lovely wife. It is trials and tribulations for her, and she's doing everything she can to get better. And we are staying positive, staying in prayer, go to church, and thank you to everyone. And thank you very much, and God bless.
Absolutely, brother. And Mr. Ghost, sir, last but not least, any parting words out for the crew? And I'm just trying to get some answers in the chat, but there you go, Cisco. But yes, Mr. Ghost, any parting words there for the crew?
Well, it's always good to be on with you because you have really a wonderful audience, and that means everything. The more, and I would just caution people now to just stay up on as much as you can. Don't drive yourself crazy. Don't you find it's too much, step away from it all. A lot of it can be daunting or confusing or make you I don't know, sometimes just wonder what in the hell is going on. But most things are going in a decent direction despite how people are interpreting a lot of it. And hopefully we can come on and help clear some of that up. And I'd just like to thank everybody for how they've been supporting Renee, and just do what you can is all I ask. But do something, whether it's prayer, a couple of dollars, anything. And we'll see you next week.
Yes, sir. So I appreciate it, guys. Armando, Mike, Ghost, thank you guys so much for jumping on here, and we will see you guys next Tuesday, 6 p.m., same bat time, same bat channel, same channels, whatever. But yeah, we do appreciate you guys, and I'll try to find something. He literally he literally wrote back. I'm like, yeah, find a song, whatever, drop it, and he wrote piano solo. It's beautiful. All right, wait, did you drop a link though, or am I just supposed to find a piano solo here somewhere? I don't see anything, dude. All right, I'll see if I can find something there. But I always end with a couple of shows of songs there that are made through our genre there, or rock songs that are put into like MAGA. So we'll see if I can get something on there. But thank you to the mods out there. Debbie just reminded me on Rumble that I forgot to hit the scratching. So they are now released over there on Pilled. So thank you for that, Debbie. And thanks to the guys here for jumping on the show as usual. We'll see you guys next Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern. And we do appreciate each and every one of you wonderful world patriots for tuning in out there. And until that next one, thumbs up, like, and subscribe. Peace.
2024 is the final battle. They're going after Trump, but if they can get Trump, it means they can get you, they can get me, they can get all of us. He is standing in the way, and that can sound like a campaign slogan, but it's very true.
Now we're approaching the most important battle of our life.
Playing field, and then we can discuss unity.